Yo, yo, yo.
Yo, what
Yo.
up? Yo.
Yeah. I didn't even
pop
change
right
the
in,
camera
dude.
yet.
Yeah.
You pop right in. What's
Why
up?
not?
What's up, Eddie?
Hey guys, how are you?
We got our friend Eddie from Tax Stitch, right? Tax
Yes.
Stitch. The company name is Tax Stitch.
Tax Stitch LLC. Yep,
LLC.
that's me.
He does my taxes, and he does taxes for my business and
Our siblings.
our siblings, and probably for a lot of people that
And probably
For a lot of people,
for a
yeah.
lot of people that are
Yeah.
in our area.
Mine next year, maybe, you know.
I don't know. You might have to put yourself on a wait list.
there is right now a small wait list because I need to hire more people. We are a growing business. It's just me and Nicola right now. But I need to get a bigger office and always trying to expand and get more people and more temps. But yeah, it's hopefully by like next year or two, I'll have 2 more people.
You got enough room in that office for another person.
I don't want it to be cramped.
It's not cramped.
I know. I don't
He
like
wants
it
to
'cause
do
it's not
jumping
cramped.
jacks
Listen,
in the middle of the office.
I mean, you could put somebody in the back room where nobody will know that they're back there.
in the closet.
Next to the bathroom.
So I used to work in a cubicle and I hated it. So as soon as I got out, I don't want to put anybody in a cubicle ever again.
Maybe other
So
people
I
like a cubicle.
I have
Nobody
a
likes.
cubicle.
Do you like the cubicle?
You know, I have a corner one, so it's not bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
What the hell's the difference between the corner cubicle and the regular cubicle?
VIP.
Yeah, I literally have a wall as a neighbor, which is great.
So a little bit more
Interesting.
privacy.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
I don't have anybody. I only have somebody behind me, which is my worker, and he doesn't say anything anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Mm.
And then I have a wall, and then I have an office, but he's like one of my work best friends. so-
Pretty sure in your office you could put somebody right across from you who can look you straight in the eyes.
I
while you-
could, and I would be like this the whole time. I don't want to look somebody in the eye unless I'm in confession, unless I have to, you know. But
Not even in confession.
no, I don't look anybody in the eye ever, you know.
You ever look at the
I-
priest in the eyes,
No,
straight in the eyes
I
during
look down.
confession?
I look down with shame, and you know.
I'm not gonna lie. One time I went at Fabian, and Gregor was doing the confession, but he was like in the back. You know where the statue is at Fabian?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he was just standing there. Like no
No
nothing.
screen, no nothing.
screen,
Yeah.
no. He wasn't even looking down. He was just looking forward, like into the church. And I went up and I said something. You know, I said something, and he's like, I'm like, oh shit.
He looked at you right in
He
the eyes.
looked right at me.
And,
dude.
that's when it's like it pierces your soul, is right through the eyeballs. He's like, yeah, still. Like,
And then my buddy's standing behind me. He's like, I'm not going.
I had him,
he reversed.
I had him like that one too. Like the Gregor's the same guy, dude. The same thing. You know, he has that stare in his eye.
Yeah.
Like when he's looking at you, he's like.
He's got a
Like,
mean look, dude.
The
He's got a
grin
mean-
on his face,
Yeah.
like I'm gonna get your ass when I'm.
That's funny.
Mess up, dude. And I had the same thing when I was a younger kid. He was doing confession, and that's right, the same way.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, bro. And I got put in this line, basically put in this line. I'm like, man, I can't just. It's a long ass line.
Yeah.
This
I don't
is-
want to go back. I don't want to be here for another 45 minutes. Or
You
whatever.
guys are going to Polish confession.
I don't know how to do it in English.
Go to
me
I learned in English. It's way easier, way faster.
I don't know the
went-
words.
You're in and out in 3 minutes.
I went one time in English because Michelle's like, it's only English. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm even supposed to say. She's like, just say this, this, and this. I'm like, okay. So I said it, and I'm like, this was probably the fastest confession I ever did, but it didn't feel right. It didn't feel like I was
didn't
actually,
feel legit.
And then the guy's like, do one Holy Father. I'm like, that's it? That's all I'm doing? What? Usually I get like the rosary.
Okay, so it's like going to court, and the judge is like, "You're free. You're not guilty. Charges dismissed." You're like, "Really?" And they're like, "This is awesome." Like, hell yeah.
Get arrested on the way out.
Yeah, dude. But I mean, that one time was the same thing. I went up there and I didn't say anything terrible. Maybe like one thing that wasn't, the greatest moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dude, he's listening. He's listening. And I'm like, somebody took over. I don't know what happened.
Well,
You know?
the worst for me is like he wasn't like kneeling, like sitting in a seat or anything.
just standing there.
He was just standing there,
Just listening.
and I'm standing there, like I'm facing him, and he's facing this way, and then he's just like, I'm like, oh,
Listen, it would have been worse if his head spun 360, okay? All the way around. Some exorcism style went through, and then you would have ran out the church.
you mean 450?
Yeah.
Is it 450?
450 is 450 would be all the way and then a little bit and then a
And
quarter.
a quarter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Is it
450 is 360
Yeah, that's right.
and 90.
Yeah. So that's 450.
450,
Yeah.
360 and 90 degree, yeah. So
The only way I could remember that is from freaking Tony Hawk freaking skateboarding, dude.
I just
yeah,
the game,
there's
dude.
I mean, I
360,
450.
720, and 1080.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
1080p?
I just did math.
Huh? He's IT guy. He does numbers. Yeah, I just know the 360 is the 720 and the 1080.
Yeah.
720 would be 2 spins.
2 spins, and 1080 is 3 spins.
Three
Yeah,
spins.
that wasn't a Tony Hawk for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah,
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 that's the only way I remember that. Otherwise, I gotta do math, literally. But
Yeah,
that actually sticks
I
out.
had a snowboarding game on what was it, Xbox or like?
I already know. I already know which one you're talking about. I already know what you're talking about.
It was called Snowboarding 1080.
Yeah.
So that's what it was.
We
The
had
best
that.
very old
snowboarding
game.
That's
Very
yeah,
old
it
game.
was like original Xbox.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
That's what it was, and I had that game, so that's why now it's engraved in my head. 3 spins is 1080.
Dude, can you believe that? How old Xbox is, dude?
No.
I was a kid when the Xbox came out.
When
You know,
did the Xbox come out?
When
The
I
first
was-
one.
I was like 16 when the first Xbox came out, I think, or 17 maybe.
16. Okay. Sounds
No,
about
you were younger
right.
than that. First
Younger?
Xbox, bro. We were
Oh, you're right.
like
'cause
I was like 8. Well, I was like
when is the first
6.
Xbox? When does the first Xbox come out? No.
like yeah, dude.
It was like late 2000,
it was like 2000.
or maybe 2000. That's 2000. Because PS1 came out in 90.
PS1 came out first,
Yeah,
and
100%.
then Xbox came out when PS2 came out. I think that's where
2001.
the rivalry.
Damn, bro. Holy
24
look at that
years
original
ago.
big ass box, dude.
24 years. Okay.
Remember the big ass controller?
24 years. How old was I?
And now it's like
13. I was 13.
it's like
I was 7,
minus
yeah.
4. You minus 4. You carry the
Carry
3.
the
I'm like that.
Divided by 9.
I'm like
It's
that,
hold
dude.
on.
Remember in the
Use the boxes.
Remember in
Yeah.
remember in the Hangover when Alan went to the blackjack tables?
Oh, and all the
then
numbers?
number just fucking coming through his head. That was me right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, look at that big ass old box, dude. Holy crap. Now we got what? Xbox. I don't even know what Xbox we're on anymore.
I don't know. It's like 1X something, or it's like
Yeah.
yeah. Now it's like Xbox One
Did you know-
X or
did you-
1S.
Yeah, Xbox is falling off though. They're like they apparently there's some console that came out, but it's like for kids, like a kids console.
Okay.
And apparently that is outselling the Xbox.
I believe it. Like I don't own an Xbox or PS5
I don't
currently.
either. I just
I
have
don't
a
own one.
computer.
I think that stuff is. I think those like consoles are gonna die off.
Nah, PlayStation's.
I think
sticking.
PlayStation's holding around because that's worldwide. PlayStation is worldwide. Everybody in the world
Yeah,
plays FIFA.
that's true.
Yeah.
And it's like I think PlayStation's going into more like the virtual reality, so where you wear a headset, you know, then
Yeah.
you could then you could shoot around and walk around the room.
because they have VR. They have a lot of VR.
I don't
So,
think Xbox does. Does Xbox have VR?
I'm
who
sure
knows?
they do some kind of Oculus, but it's probably not.
It
as,
doesn't
I don't,
even
it's
matter.
probably not
I don't
as
have
good.
time to play this shit anyway. So it's
Listen,
like
I don't have like unfortunately I don't have time to play it either. Like,
I have PS I'm pretty sure I have PS4 and an Xbox One. I think.
Like, I don't have any of that. I gave that to my little nephews, the Xbox that I had. And the way I got that Xbox was a gift from like an ex-girlfriend where I was like 20, whatever, the Xbox One came out after this. And I was like 24. And she's like, you don't have an Xbox? I'm like, no. She goes, all my friends' boyfriends have Xboxes. I'm like, okay, but I don't have one. She goes, do you want one? I'm like, yes, I want. I want to be awesome. So she bought me an Xbox. I was like, score. I got a nice Xbox.
By
and-
girlfriend, ex-girlfriend now.
so it gets better. So she brought me the Xbox, and I have, unfortunately, like I'm a pretty stable guy, but sometimes I get my addictive personality kicks in.
Yep.
Like at a casino, or if I start a project, if I
sitting
start
next to
working,
another person
You,
just
you
like
ain't
that.
gotta tell us. You gotta-
I'm normally pretty stable, but then the addictive personality kid gets in. You're like, I gotta finish this. So either you're working on a car, or you see a bottle, or you're at a casino. No matter what the target is, you have an end. The
You have
target.
to end it.
Yeah, so I was playing.
That's like the casino, 100%.
I was playing the what's it called game. It was like Modern Warfare,
yeah.
and the campaign mode still.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah,
I'm playing that, you know, and then she would come over, you know, spend the nights, and then like she came over, I'm like, I just started the game, so we'd go to bed. And then I'd sneak out, like around 11, I'd sneak out of the bed and then go play till like 1 a.m., you know, till my eyeballs start burning, and then you go back to bed.
Yeah.
So I did it one night, second night, third night, I get out of bed, and then she gets up, she called me. And she looked at me, she goes, Edward. And I'm just like there, like a 5-year-old who got busted, you know. I'm just like put my head down in shame. Like I'm like, you bought me this. You knew this was a bad idea. I told you it's a bad idea.
This was you. You
Yes.
did this.
Yeah, you did this. Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well, I'm not gonna say no. So I'm like, yep, my fault. So I'm actually going back to bed with a beautiful girl instead of playing Xbox.
Did you
Like,
go back?
Yes, went back to bed.
Did you wake up again later?
No, I stopped. I
And he didn't fall asleep.
I finished the game, that camp mode, and I didn't touch the game for a little bit because I know if I started a TV show, like I'll be watching it till 3 a.m. until your eyeballs are burning, and I'll finish a season in 2 days, 3 days max.
Yeah. Yep. I remember
I've
I
had
watched.
that.
I remember when Lost was out. I watched the entirety of Lost in under a month, and that was 7 seasons.
Bro, that shit was long as hell.
Yeah. And I
watched
finished it all in 1 month.
That's wild. First
and
of all.
those are 7 seasons. Each episode's an hour long.
Yeah. And there's I think and there was like 12 episodes in each season. Yeah, I
That
know.
is intense.
Bro,
That
I
is
was
quite intense.
when I watched the first the first 3 seasons, and after that it just started like this is like kind of getting tiring, boring kind of.
They were dragging it on.
Yeah. My favorite one was Black Sails. I watched that one. Fucking no
I
problem.
watched that one too.
That was a good
that
one,
was
bro.
good.
That
That
was
was
a
good
good one.
HBO. Yeah.
Yeah, that was like my favorite TV show.
Because
Not
that
TV show.
one came out like right after Game of Thrones came out, so it was there like the
Yeah.
retaliation to Game of Thrones, what they
Yeah.
reproduced, and it's a very similar concept. Just
it was very
more,
good.
more like
More
on,
good. Gory. A lot
Gory?
more gory.
yeah.
Yeah.
They killed a lot of people
And,
there.
and they had a good storyline though. It
oh
had
yeah,
a
it
good
did. It's just
storyline.
the ending was gay,
Yeah.
but I mean literally. But
I feel like that's a lot of shows though. People don't know how to wrap it up.
No, like you're right. They start strong,
Yeah.
and they got the momentum going, and
Yeah.
they figure you're addicted. You're gonna watch the end no matter how bad it is.
Which
yeah,
is true.
That's
Which is true. It's
100%
what you do
true,
because
yeah.
you already got them hooked in the beginning, and
yeah.
it's like, it's like I'm gonna finish it just to see how it ends. But it's as the budget goes down, the writers either got fired or somebody gave
Yeah,
up
yeah,
somewhere,
yeah. Well,
and the quality goes down.
yeah, I
These
remember-
motherfuckers thinking nobody got fired.
like,
Yeah.
like
They
Peaky
just made,
Blinders.
they just made you want to.
They got
made 'em
comfortable. They got comfortable.
Yeah.
They
They made
didn't
it-
get. The creativity went away.
They just
bro.
do copy and paste,
Yeah.
the same article
Well,
or the same
I
same script.
I remember, like, for example, Game of Thrones, right? Because they were written off books. That's why the early seasons were so good. Is because they were written books actually, and they were just taken out of
Yeah,
books.
out of the
and,
books, yeah.
and that's why it was good. Same thing with like Witcher, right? Which was a good show. But like as Game of Thrones new seasons came out, or as they were developing, the books weren't written yet.
Yeah.
So they were just they kind of didn't have a guideline. Why is everybody looking over there?
No,
So that
Look at you.
the
He's
guide
checking himself out.
yeah, the
Pretty
guide kind of went away, and I think that was the problem for for example
mean,
for that, right?
I liked Game of Thrones all the way to the end.
Did you?
Really? You
did.
liked the end?
The ending was a little stupid, but
It was a little stupid. It was,
but
it was like a
but
cheat
again-
code. It was like a cop out because you just
Yeah.
stabbed the lady from behind. It's just like,
Yeah.
really?
But then again, like I said, Black Sails was a great show. I loved that show until the last episode. And I was like, what the fuck is
Yeah.
this? What is this? Why did you end this show in this some stupid ass? You already got the hints along the way in the last season. Like
Yeah,
midway,
yeah,
you
yeah.
were like, something doesn't make sense here. Who's somebody with somebody here? And it ended up being the damn main character is a gay dude, bro. I was like, what the but why?
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Why? What the
'Cause and that's
In
what,
the pirate
and that's
times?
what started the
That's what it's funny.
I was like, this is you just any other way, bro. Die, fucking I don't know, get dragged under the boat like that one dude did,
Or drown. Like most
or-
most pirates die.
or get
by
killed in
drowning,
action. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know, do some jumping damn British ship and just die. I don't know, fucking make it ended up on a plantation
so,
together.
you know who hasn't messed up quite yet? Peaky Blinders.
I want to say they did it. The ending of the last
supposed to say
season
they did.
was not that great.
But there's still a new season coming out.
Is there?
Yeah,
There is one
I thought it was over.
It was confirmed. No,
Okay.
no, it's not the end.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so
But the one with the
there's also a movie coming out.
The
one
movie
with-
coming out, yeah, I heard about that. But I think like season 5 or 6, it just kind of dropped in quality. I
yeah,
want
season
to say.
5 when they started doing the political thing.
Yeah, it got more political.
yeah.
Very political.
which
The
I,
Nazi stuff?
I like it, but I mean, like at the same time, I was like, this isn't really for the. This isn't what I signed up for in this
Yeah.
show currently. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah,
But
but,
it was-
I mean, I guess that's kind of, but like that's the
I guess the trend, right?
yeah. Well, that's not just the trend, but it's also like
No, not the trend, but like you start at the bottom and you work your way up to.
right. Now it's
Now you're a politician. You're famous
Yeah,
and
I
everything.
mean, is that how corruption and like evil works? you start as a
First you're evil,
I mean,
and corrupt.
I mean, the first start as a gangster, and you work your way up to mafia to like a boss man.
I mean, that
and
is a
then
good
from boss
timeline.
man
Then he
you
goes
go
legit.
to you go legit, and then you go to politics.
yeah.
And then the best criminals are politicians. So it's like a level up. Like you want to be.
I mean, I guess you're right.
That's
I guess you're
the
right.
final level, dude.
Yeah,
That's the point. You reach boss status when you become a politician because your corrupt level is just on a different hierarchy.
Damn, bro, that's terrible. That's a terrible approach.
Aren't you
Now
going
you're
to
just a
politics?
criminal.
I am, but I'm not,
You're just a criminal with a title.
I'm not a criminal. That's the thing.
But you're above the law criminal for the most part.
What the hell's above the law criminal?
It means above the law criminal, you don't get your hands dirty. You got people for that, and you're doing white collar
I don't
crimes.
even have. I don't.
And you're doing white collar crimes.
That's not,
Like,
that's not what
the-
Paul's doing either.
like most like going like gonna take a step into the tax and audit. The most corrupt system is like CPS in Chicago. It's so corrupt
No.
because how much money they spend on kickbacks. The amount that they give like preferred vendors is just astronomical. Where they're legit paying $75 for a $25 hammer. So you're taking an extra $50. You're like, hey, 25 for you, 25 for me. So
Yeah,
it's
we
like
split the
the
profit.
spending of government agencies, like in Illinois, especially because we live in Illinois, but also like the big states like Cali and New York, how much money you get for kickbacks is just like a commission. Like, hey, I signed this contract, so here's my consulting fee of $1.5 billion. Or it's like, hey, here's the contract, but the contract, for the supplies is $200,000, but I'm charging you, $500,000. Because I had one of my old coworkers, her sister, they audited they worked for an auditing company, and they audited Chicago Public Schools, and they brought it to the state of Illinois that they're misspending money. And what does Illinois do? Give them more money.
Yeah, I mean that's
because it's easier to give them more money
than look at the
to fix the problem.
Yeah, 100%.
No,
that's the problem that Illinois has.
Because that's the thing is like there's a filter. Like, hey, every $1 that comes in, let's say 60% goes to corruption. So then for me, 40 cents went to the actual students, the schools, the teachers, the buildings, what have you. So that means, how do we get more money into the pocket of the schools? Give them $2 down the filter. Don't change the side. Fixing the filter is hard, whereas you can just put more money down the filter. It's easier.
Yeah,
because you could borrow money as a state through bonds and whatnot, and then the money gets to the school. But now 60% of $2 went to corruption instead of 60% of $1.
Yeah.
So it's just like unless somebody starts auditing the vendors, there's no way you're gonna stop corruption in Illinois. The biggest thing is you have 4 big accounting firms in the world. They're worldwide, so they're not limited by geopolitical social groups. They're not political. They're not controlled by
politicians,
by CTA, by CP. Like small Illinois bureaucratic governments. So they're not limited. Like, hey, they're not scared of
going in deep.
Going deep because they're worldwide. They're international, so they're bigger.
What's an example of one of those?
KPMG, Ernst and Young,
Deloitte. I heard that one.
And PwC.
PwC.
Those are the big 4. Those are the big 4 honchos. Huh?
What are they, auditors, or they are?
They do auditing and they do tax. So that's their accounting firms. So that's the ones that are filling out the tax returns for Coca-Cola, Lowe's, Home Depot.
Yeah.
The big shots.
Right. Have they ever audited Chicago?
And the cities? No, they don't, because somebody has to pay for that audit.
Yeah.
The reason they audit Home Depot, Lowe's, and let's say Coca-Cola or 3M, Ford,
whatever,
Nissan, any company, because it's listed on the NASDAQ and the Dow Jones. It's listed on the stock market. And then the SEC requires
they have to be audited.
You gotta get your audited.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for that, why would you want to pay somebody to check your books?
Well, yeah, you got to have auditors
As
to make sure.
as long as you're making money, why would you tell somebody, hey,
right, exactly.
tell me how I'm mismanaging my money, even though I'm being profitable and managing a tight ship?
Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're on a stock market, then obviously your numbers reflect your business, right? And then your investors, who are your investors, have numbers to look at and be like, this is good, this is not good.
Yeah,
Yeah, they got
this
the
makes sense.
They got
This
the
doesn't make
10K that
sense.
comes out, and they want to go through there.
Why did Ford just cut, their electric F-150, the Lightning, and took a $19.5 billion loss? They just did that.
Yeah, I saw that they cut it off the F-150.
$19.5 billion cut, a write-off, basically, as that.
That's
They
crazy.
cut down the program. I mean, they tried it. It didn't work. They lost a shit ton of money, and
Yeah.
it is what it is. Because your background in terms of
My background is I went to UIC for 5 years. Starting off, I went to UIC for 5 years, and I got my master's degree in accounting over there. Went a minor in international business. And then after that, it was 2009. The job market was a bit rough, so I did like project accounting. So where I was outsourced to a company for 6 months. So I worked there for 6 months, stacked up some cash, went to travel for 2 months. Came back, found another job, worked for another 6 months, took a month off, went traveling somewhere. So then after that, I got into the trucking industry. One of my buddies got me a job in the trucking industry, so I was managing the finances, QuickBooks. I'd learned a lot of stuff like hands-on for small business, kind of like parking lot, logistics, gas station, mechanic repair shop, that kind of stuff. Then after there, I went to like a for-profit college. Now the name of it was Rasmussen College. They're a college, but they're for-profit. And then I seen how they had like different campuses, but they also had a lot of online school as well. So I seen that industry and how they pretty much, it's a for-profit college, but it's still a business.
Yeah.
Right.
So they would target people from GI Bills that, hey, you finished the military, you got some like money reserved from the government to go to college. They're betting you're not going to finish the course, but they're going to
take the money.
They will take the money anyway at the beginning just to sign you up, because once place most of their efforts in signing you up for school, and after, if you don't continue, they don't care because you pay them the money.
Right.
Or you
right.
didn't pay them, the government paid them because you had GI
Yeah,
Bill.
yeah.
So most of these schools you see like online, like the EDU, they're for-profit colleges, or they masquerade as not-for-profit colleges, but at the end of the day, they're here to make $1.
Yeah.
It's a
I
business.
feel like every college.
I
is
mean,
like
even
that.
not-for-profit companies are there at the end of the day to make money. Too.
Yeah, especially the schools, you know,
Yeah,
they have to make
yeah.
$1. The ones that do not receive state funding for research, they have to make $1, otherwise they close the doors. But there are other schools that get state funding for research,
Right,
so
right.
they get paid for that. But
Right.
there are professors that in schools that never teach a day in their lives; they just do research the whole time. So after Rasmussen, I got linked up with the state of Texas. I was working for the state of Texas for about 8 years, a little over.
As an auditor.
And as an auditor, I was sales and use tax, franchise tax, and a volume of small miscellaneous taxes, because the state of Texas does not have income tax.
It does not.
Right, right.
So as compared to Illinois, you got roughly 5% income tax. So every $100, you get $5 more in your pocket
In Texas.
in Texas.
Yeah,
Right.
not in Illinois.
Right, right,
You
right.
lose
Not in
$5
Illinois,
in
yeah.
Illinois.
So every $100 you make, you get
Doesn't
$5
feel
more and
like
you keep it in your
$5.
pocket.
I'll tell you that. It doesn't feel like $5.
Just on the income tax side, just on the income
yeah,
tax.
right.
And actually, their sales tax rate is lower in Texas as well.
Yeah.
So it's lower by about 2%.
Everything's
Which is a
bigger in
big
Texas.
difference, dude.
Everything's bigger in Texas except for taxes.
Yeah. So the one thing is like they don't care about the individual going after you.
Right.
They primarily go after businesses. So they go after businesses. That's who pays the taxes. I mean, the oil industry helps keep it afloat, obviously.
Right.
Yeah.
The property taxes are quite low compared to Illinois. So
100%.
they don't make the money on property taxes. It's not on people's income tax. It's the sales tax and the oil revenue.
Yeah.
And the sales tax that they bring in, that's they go after companies that make sure they're doing it right. That are
Yeah.
like I was stationed.
If you're paying your taxes and you're doing it right, we'll still check you.
I
But
know, yeah, because the big ones they check them every 4 years. They have every contract, like not a contract, but they have a rotation every 4-year cycle. So they go. So like, let's say it's 2025. So let's say next year in 2026, I'm knocking on your door. Like, give me all the records from 2021 through 2025.
I've
I
been
get,
to
to
a
go
lot of it before.
I get to go through 4 years back, so I'm gonna start 4 years back. And then the companies we had an office in Oak Brook because state of Texas had office in New York, California, Oak Brook, and then like it had like 26 offices in Texas. The logic behind it is, if you have all the companies headquartered in the Midwest, you're not gonna keep sending people from Texas to the Midwest to stay in
Yeah.
hotels and
Right,
flights.
right.
So it's cheaper to keep a satellite office open. And by the way, most states do this as well. Like New York has an office in Illinois. Illinois got an office in New York. California, same thing, vice
Of course
versa,
they all
because
do.
it's cheaper.
When it comes
Because
to taxes, bro, they're gonna have people everywhere. Dude.
yeah, because I mean, I was auditing Ford. I was in GM to Fiat Chrysler in Detroit. So I drive to Detroit, and then I went to 3M, like the Mayo Clinic in Minneapolis. There's a lot of medical companies that sell to the Mayo Clinic, but
Right.
guess what? They sell to every hospital in the U.S. as well. So it's like, hey, is this item taxable or non-taxable when you sell it to Texas? And then also AutoZone, which is in where's that? That one's in Memphis, Tennessee. Yeah. So I spent like a month in Memphis, Tennessee.
Was it a good time?
I do like Memphis actually. Yeah.
Memphis is nice.
Memphis
when
is nice.
when you're not in the hood. I've been there.
Actually, Memphis is a very like the way the hood and the good parts. It's very like weirdly set up.
It is.
Because I would be driving down Memphis and it'd go like you would think like a hood, and then you see like a Catholic school with like Mercedes Benz and
very
some nice
mixed.
cars outside, and it's mixed. So everybody gets along out there. So it's a very mixed neighborhood, but everybody gets along just fine for the most
I mean,
part.
I don't know if they get along very well. Their murder rate is probably the top 5. But
Get
yeah.
out, seriously?
I swear to God.
Top 5?
Dude, hey,
Memphis,
since we're
Tennessee.
here, since we're here already on Grok, our favorite. Memphis, Tennessee. How safe is Memphis,
I would
Tennessee?
think Hotlanta
How
is
what?
number 1.
How safe is Memphis, Tennessee?
I would say I felt quite safe out there.
You went to a different place because when I
mean,
went to
look, come on.
Memphis,
I did go to the hood to get a haircut in Memphis, Tennessee.
Probably got the best haircut there.
And I went to the hood, and they took advantage of me because I was the only white dude in that section. Like $45 for a haircut, and this was like 8 years ago. I'm like, how much? I'm like, you didn't do that good of a job, man. So I started arguing. I'm like, no. Like,
did you argue with them?
I'm like, there's 8 of you guys here. Like, I'm the one white dude. I'm like, yep, it's not gonna work out for me.
Memphis has historically high crime rates, but data through late 2025 shows significant improvements, with overall crime reaching a 25-year low.
When? Major violent crime fell 20% in Shelby County. including murder rates. This client started in 2024. Murdering drops in other major cities like New York and Chicago. That's because the freaking government came in. Oh man, that's funny. But yeah, they were Memphis was one of the highest ranked.
But
like,
if you ever get a chance to go to East Memphis, it's like going to Hinsdale or Burr Ridge. It's like
I mean,
East
I believe
Memphis is
that.
real nice.
every area like that, a big city has an area like
Yeah,
that.
I was
right?
like, look at
Southside
like
Chicago, right?
Atlanta.
You want to go drive down Southside Chicago? We're talking like on Lakeshore and
like Inglewood.
It's like
that's not even that. I'm
Robbins.
talking like Southside.
Inglewood, Calumet City.
Yeah, Calumet City, dude.
I mean, I drive to those areas sometimes, and myself.
You
I'm
work
like,
in those cities.
I mean, technically, I fucking do everything, but maybe not in that part. But it's not. It's a sketchy place. I drive and I have my gun in my hand most of the time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just I have a concealed and carry, and
I don't know, man. When I'm driving my white van for work, I'm
I'm driving a truck that's like not an ugly truck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You call my van ugly?
Probably.
My Ford Transit?
Ford Transit?
I mean, if they want to get your ass, they want your equipment. They don't want you.
Yeah, they're not
there.
stealing the car.
I
They
got
want
nothing
the
there.
But if they see me driving in the truck, they're gonna be like, we want the truck. Fuck the guy, but we want the truck.
Yeah, they're gonna take your rims.
Yeah, well, whatever. I mean, they can take my cats and everything, dude. I mean, but regardless of the fact, I mean, there's every major like large city has an area like that.
Of
right?
course.
Yeah.
Detroit has that. Even Dallas, Texas has that. That's not maybe as pronounced.
I mean, Dallas, not Houston more.
Houston more.
Houston
100%.
more. Houston more's got a lot of it going on. Like, if you go from safety, because I used to go training in Texas as well. So I'd go to Austin, Dallas, and Houston all the time. Where Dallas is more like Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more like a financial district, and that's more up north. Whereas Austin's in the middle, and that is more IT central. It's more like California.
Yeah.
Then you have Houston, which is like leftovers. It's like whoever we just like people,
Wants to be in
people
Texas.
to live. You know what I'm saying? Like throw them over there. Just
Yeah.
kind
I
of.
mean, Houston is a big hub for oil, and it's
oil-
not the
oil and
cleanest
gas.
industry. I mean,
Yeah.
so I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, so based on all of that, whatever. I mean, it is what it is. That some cities have that. Most cities have that.
I mean, like Atlanta
But-
probably has the same thing,
Oh,
right?
yeah,
yeah,
so
they
yeah,
call it Hotlanta
Yeah, Atlanta, yeah, there you go.
for a
I
reason.
I picked up cars from random places before, like all kinds of cities. New York and Memphis and Nashville and Atlanta and Florida. I'm actually gonna have to probably take a trip to Florida next month.
Okay.
And then next month I gotta drop off that Supra. We sold it.
Oh, the
bird
bird one?
Supra.
The Paul Walker Supra? The Paul Walker
Supra
special?
Oh, yeah?
sold.
You had that?
Sold. Yeah.
No, not an actual Paul
Okay.
Walker. It's Supra, but
But
Oh,
like,
you
a
didn't-
Paul Walker special.
You didn't see our viral post. Damn, how could you?
I try to stay
hey,
off
you
social
do-
mean as much as I can.
I don't believe you.
So I try to stay off it, because
Doesn't mean he does.
I try to.
Remember how you talked about your addictive personality, right?
Yeah, because listen, it's like it's like the question was, I forget, I was reading some podcast somewhere or some kind of reel. It's like, that question is, what are you gonna look at? The question was, if you're gonna take a phone with you to the bathroom, is what are you looking when you're at the phone in the bathroom?
Yeah, 100%. You should just leave it out of the bathroom,
Yeah, you should. But when you get in there, it's like, yeah, I got 2 minutes. Let me just.
and then you sit there for 10.
25 minutes
Yeah.
later.
We've all
I
done
think
it.
I'm pretty sure a lot of people have the same problem.
Oh, I bet.
You
feel
just
like-
sit on a
I feel
toilet.
like a
especially
lot
when
of,
you're-
I feel like a
because-
lot of guys have that problem.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially when you're at
When they're
home.
trying to take a shit for a while.
yeah.
It's like, I got time. I'm going nowhere. Let me just scroll.
Yeah, I agree. And that's not a good habit.
No.
I actually heard about that. There was, I think, a research study somewhere saying that men are more prone to having hemorrhoids
Oh, yeah, because it's on toilet so
because
much.
sitting on the toilet too long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Your butt cheeks are spread too long, dude.
That makes sense, but I would say the one way to check that's accurate is
Put your finger in your butt.
no. The next, besides that, I would say one way to check if that's accurate or not is to check hemorrhoid levels in Japan. Because older generation in Japan, they have Eastern style toilets where it's legit a hole in the ground.
Yeah.
So you have to squat.
Yeah.
And you're not chilling there because it's
No
a very
shit.
uncomfortable position. Exactly. Pun intended. So you're squatting in a very uncomfortable
It's like
position.
a Sriracha in Poland, dude.
Pretty much. But Sriracha, you have a seat. This is
At least you had a
yeah,
seat.
yeah.
Yeah,
this is like, in the forest.
yeah.
So I doubt, if that's what you're saying is true, that there should be a low hemorrhoids population in Japan.
Yeah,
that
there
reason.
should be.
I think they got their own
I'm pretty
problems,
sure that there's probably a low hemorrhoid population around the world except the U.S.
Yeah, you'd be surprised.
I mean, I'm not saying, I'm saying one of the main reasons why there's more hemorrhoids popping up nowadays is because people do exactly that. They go on the phone, they take their phone, they go sit in the bathroom,
Yeah.
they sit for 20 minutes, and they scroll whatever,
And it's
then
not just us, because older generation had newspapers or magazines.
yeah, 100%.
So it's like, you pick your vice. It was either newspaper or magazine
Or just put a TV in a
your
bathroom.
phone. That's
I mean, that is another issue. I mean, let's just sit on the toilet. But in general, I think they're saying that like the way the toilets are nowadays, like the way the toilets are designed, is not the natural way for us to go to the bathroom.
yeah. We have to be like forced. So
Yeah.
you got your knees are higher and your butt's lower.
Yeah. I heard that's the proper way
It
to
is.
actually poop.
You get the most out that way.
Yeah. Well, damn, I gotta put a ladder back.
Or just take out the toilet and poop in the hole.
Put a
Yeah,
really,
yeah.
pause, put a really big toilet in there.
Listen, I might need a
Or no, a really small toilet.
need to put a real
actually.
small toilet.
Yeah.
There's- Never mind. I'm not going into details. But regardless of the situation, regardless of the situation, yeah. I mean, that's what I've read up on the proper procedure to actually take a poop. You could say, right?
How did our conversation devolve
I don't know.
into
What
this?
Listen, we got from. I was talking about my history,
You were
and then we had Memphis, and then from Memphis we took a side
Texas,
tail
yeah.
to cities, and then but then somehow with the health.
Regardless
and
of the
now-
fact, if you're gonna
Well-
go poop, don't sit on the toilet. Okay, let's just stay there.
Yeah.
All right, that's it.
Eddie, welcome to the TBTS show. This is what we do.
But yeah, because we started I started my history. We sidetracked to Memphis. Memphis went to Texas, to Houston, I think. Then I'm not sure how we got to toilets, hemorrhoids.
Hemorrhoids.
I'm not
into
sure.
Ja-
I'm not sure
Ja-
the link,
to
the
Japan,
chain in between.
to Japan, and then
the chain between hemorrhoids and
And audits. And
Wait, do you have hemorrhoids? Is that what you're trying to is that in your mind?
I mean,
You wanna get that
maybe,
out?
maybe. Sometimes I
Are you
do.
concerned about hemorrhoids?
I'm not really concerned about it. I mean, it is what it is.
Okay.
You just gotta get off the fucking toilet.
you don't feel weird when you're going to the bathroom, do you?
Why would I feel weird?
Because I believe hemorrhoids hurts. I doubt
Sometimes.
because it's comfortable.
What do you mean sometimes?
experience.
How did you know, Paul?
I mean, I've had hemorrhoids before. I mean, I understand. It's a natural part of life.
I've never had
I
hemorrhoids.
haven't-
You fucking will one day.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, right. I'm
Yeah,
saying.
hope you
that's-
don't.
It's the real wood.
That's because I think that also has to do with your diet. Like if you eat the wrong things, like there's certain things I probably shouldn't be eating, but I eat them anyway
Same.
because I like them,
Yeah.
and that doesn't necessarily help you
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
your situation of you going to take a poop or whatever you want to say, right? But whatever. Anyway, past that, we're talking about your history.
Sure.
So you finished up in Texas,
Yeah. So,
and then
while I was working for the state of Texas, I was traveling the U.S. So you see that I've been to Milwaukee. Like,
don't say Memphis again
Sorry.
because we're gonna get sidetracked.
I've been to Milwaukee like 35 times. I went to Detroit like 40 times. So I would travel the U.S., going all these companies and auditing them. So like back to AutoZone, the reason you send a guy like me to audit AutoZone because you have like let's say 1,000 stores in Texas. You're not going to go to each individual store and ask for records.
Oh yeah.
You're going to send Eddie to the headquarters, which is in Memphis,
They have all the paperwork there.
and ask him for all the records and talk to people who, to keep the records together and ask them who makes the decisions based on taxability. It's like, how did you determine these are taxable or not? And what rate did you decide on? And pretty much check their software to make sure the software is good too.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you're checking at the head level before it trickles down to the computer system.
Yeah.
Because once it goes to the computer system and it's on the receipt, it's already too late. You don't have to change it.
Yeah.
So we're making sure that the procedures, that their rules are all intact and it's good because there are 50 states. All of them have different kind of rules for taxation.
Yeah.
And certain products are taxable in one state and not the other state.
Yep. Makes sense.
Like food and medicine are in most cases non-taxable. Not surprisingly, Bibles are not taxable in Texas. Then there's like manufacturing equipment.
Say Bibles.
Bibles are not taxable in Texas.
Yeah, I knew that actually.
And so any religious kind of writing in Texas is not taxable. So, and then there's like school supplies, and then there's also things like tax holidays, and then there's manufacturing. Whereas if you have manufacturing a shop, a building, and you're buying stuff for resale, or if you're a store, or if you're using it for manufacturing, hey, you make sure that you didn't pay tax on it, or if you did pay tax, you get your money back. Because if I buy $2 million worth of machines to manufacture something, is it taxable or is it exempt? And then what am I manufacturing? Because surprisingly, conveyor systems are taxable in Texas, but the machine is not. The actual production machine is not.
That makes sense though.
So because the conveyor does not add value to the product,
Yeah.
it does not increase the.
It's not making a product.
No, but it's moving it from machine to
Yeah.
machine.
Right.
So it's like a forklift could do that, or a human could do that.
Yeah.
So we're making sure that the conveyors were taxed, whereas the machinery was not.
That makes sense though. If you
So
think about it.
that's just one example, And then also
I feel like that's good for business.
and there's also a lot of things like that, a lot of digital products that are not being taxed. And is it when also that before like the Wayfair, the eBay, like on Amazon, they didn't have taxes before.
This
It was
is actually one of the
responsibility.
questions I was going to ask you about.
It was
Specifically
responsibility of the purchaser to remit the taxes, the sales taxes, or the responsibility of the seller. But if the seller, let's say you sold 4 products to Oklahoma, to Oklahoma, are you going to go through the trouble of creating an Oklahoma license, figuring out how to report in Oklahoma, or are you just going to say fudge it and not report to Oklahoma?
Yeah.
So that's what a lot of people were doing. And so then there was a giant case with the Supreme Court involving Wayfair. And Wayfair lost that case because Wayfair had, hey, hands off, we're not responsible for taxes. And that's what a lot of people wanted to do because like the smaller platforms, like excluding eBay and Amazon, the Mercaris, the Poshmark, they were never charging taxes.
Right.
Because they didn't want to. It's a lot of work
Yeah.
with zero economic benefit to you.
Yeah.
Because it's not you don't make a profit charging tax.
Yeah.
So you have to hire somebody to do taxes for you, and then you have to keep track of all that, and it's just like, and you lose customers because now you're paying taxes.
Yeah.
So the price went up 10%. So a lot, you don't want to do this if you don't have to. But then the Wayfair lost the case. So now every product sold on a third-party merchant website like eBay has to have tax on it.
Yeah.
Because it's now responsibility of the person selling of the person like providing the platform.
And mind you, not every single state collects sales tax.
No, that's true.
Because
So-
there are certain states, like obviously I sell on eBay. This is what I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
Obviously I sell on eBay, right? Mm-hmm. So when I'm selling in the beginning, like you were saying,
Like 10 years ago.
they were like, you got to collect tax. I'm like, how the hell do I collect tax? Like, who do I report this tax to? Illinois?
Yeah, because you didn't know what your rate it was on,
I don't know
Right.
what the rate is. I don't know where it's going. I mean, I kind of know where it's going, but I
No.
don't know what the rates are. I'm not sure who I'm supposed to talk to. They made it pretty confusing at that. It was pretty confusing at the time.
Yeah,
and
and
so we just didn't charge tax.
And to your defense, it's like, who do I pay tax to? Because
Well, I'm not
that's
paying
a big
any more
question.
to Illinois.
Yeah, because we're paying to Illinois, or you're paying, based on shipping address.
Illinois, take the
So,
money.
so with the legal term they came up with is economic benefit location. That was the legal term they came up with during that
So the
thing.
location doing the
economic
buying.
benefit, because the economy benefits wherever it was shipped to.
Yes. So
Because
whoever's buying.
Whoever's buying, yes.
Uh-huh.
So that's why the ship to address, most cases, was the economic benefit location. That became important because that was pulled into the IT world, and a lot of products you're buying online,
Mm-hmm.
But let's say you had a headquarters in Minnesota, you had an employee in Indiana, who gets the tax?
Yeah.
Because you bought it, and the PO was placed in Minnesota. You bought it from, let's say, Wisconsin, but it was shipped to somebody. But the person who had access and data point was in Indiana. So it's also like who's accessing the program.
Yeah.
And which state?
And that's the person who should be paying the tax.
That's where a lot of stuff online, because now you have the cloud database. So like, hey, you're accessing it, so they do it by where you shipped it to. Like if you move, that's your own. That's your own prerogative, and you don't pay taxes. Basically, you move to change the income benefit location. But starting off, that's like where's the software is going to be used.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why that's always been like a gray area, because now people master VPNs, they master IP address,
Oh yeah.
because they don't want you to know where they're at exactly. So, but that's kind of like the people when you're working for a big company, you can't master your VPN, right?
Yeah.
You have to be legit. If you work from McDonald's or from Google, work from home, you have to use their VPN, and you cannot mask the location.
Yeah.
Because I had people like that, they wanted to go work in Poland or Mexico or wherever, but the companies like, you can't leave the U.S. You have to work you can work remote, but you have to be in the U.S. You cannot leave the U.S. work remote.
That's why my company doesn't do that anymore. It's
No?
like one of our owners used to like work out of Poland for like 8 months out of the year, and then one of my workers wanted to move to Spain, but keep working,
Yeah.
right? And my boss was like, no, because of the
Security risk.
it's not just a security risk, but just like the pay and everything like that is just like too much of a hassle.
Yeah, because then there's different taxes in
But
Poland too. and-
also, it's like a 7-hour difference. He's like, you're 20 years old. You're gonna want to go out and stuff instead of working
Working,
at 10 o'clock at
I mean,
night.
don't get me wrong. Like, I've considered, leaving the U.S. and going somewhere else, but I'm just like, I would still like stay within the same time zone.
Yeah.
But South America's got plenty to offer.
yeah.
So I'd go live in one of those countries where it's still the same time zone. You can live a regular, normal life still. Because biggest complaint people go to Europe and work from the U.S. companies, like, yeah, at 7 o'clock in p.m. you're starting a day,
yeah.
and so you have to be up till 2 in the morning, and you're exhausted because you've been up since 8 a.m.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Exactly.
Now you
Exactly.
got to do everything before work instead of after work.
That's not
Yeah.
a bad idea for in terms of like stuff like for yourself, like moving down to South America somewhere, same time zone, dude. It's not like you have to see people most of the time anyway.
If you can do that.
If you can do that.
I mean,
yeah.
I could, yeah. So like, if you come back here for something like meetings, to have
Set up a bunch of meetings, come
up for like a month or two, and then go back to South America.
Yeah.
Because one of the things, like, I like to ski, but
You
there's
could ski in the rainforest in the Amazon.
No, you gotta go to
But-
Chile.
But yeah, once you pass the equator, you could go skiing in July down to the region of Patagonia.
Oh, that's a nice area.
Because Patagonia, obviously, where the jacket company comes from, it's
Yeah.
fucking cold there.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of there's a lot of skiing resorts.
Southern tip of Argentina.
Yep.
Yeah, so I would check that out. You just go skiing in July and August in Patagonia, whereas as a tax accountant from January through April, you're kind of busy. So skiing
Yeah.
is quite limited to Sunday trips to Wisconsin.
Yeah, yeah,
It's not
exactly.
the same. It's not quite the same.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I mean, that's okay. So then from there, obviously, you.
From there, so while I was working for the government,
We're still talking about
we're
it.
still getting past my history, So it's a good thing I started here, not back in April 10, 1987. Okay? It's a good thing I started where I started from. But coming back to it, so while I was working for the government, the good thing about working for the government, it's a 40-hour week. For the most part, it's 40-hour week.
Yeah.
So, and during tax season, I had friends and family like, hey, you're a CPA, can you do my taxes? I'm like, yeah, sure. So I started taking friends and family, and then 40 clients became 80. 80 became 160. 160 just kept growing and growing to the point where COVID hit. And then there was a lot of, and then I'm like, there was a lot of more restrictions on during COVID and my job. And I was like, I can make the same money working for myself than I can work for you, for the government. I'm
Yeah.
like, you know what? Peace out. I'm going to do my own show. See you later. Because with the government job, it's cool because it's,
Steady.
you rise rather quickly, but it caps out after like 4 or 5 years. It caps out for pay. Like the first like 3, 4, 5 years, you're growing. Like, okay, for 10% bonus, 10K bonus, raise every year. Like, this is great, incline. But then it caps out rather quickly, and you're just like, do I want to do this the rest of my life?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because most government jobs, you either stay 2 to 10 years, or you're a lifer. You don't leave the job
That's why
ever.
USPS workers are always so angry at the office.
Because they're lifers. They have the golden handcuffs on, because they want the pension plan, they want the retirement
Yeah,
benefits.
yeah, yeah.
They want to quit their job and try something else.
But they can't.
But they can't.
Yeah.
So they're stuck because they're like, hey, the benefits are too good to give up.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question, referring back to eBay and stuff. So if I'm writing an invoice on PayPal, let's say,
Yeah.
okay, I'm writing an invoice on PayPal,
Okay.
and I'm shipping it out of my state to some other state. Do I charge them tax?
When you're running it on PayPal, so it means you sold it on your website or just over the phone? Or
Over the phone.
Over the phone? Okay, so over the phone sale, or text message, obviously. Somebody saw your
Yeah.
product and they message you directly. If you're doing it on PayPal, because, if it's,
If it's in state, I collect tax regardless of the situation.
Right.
yeah, because at that point, you're going to collect the sales tax for Illinois and remit it to Illinois.
Yeah.
And because you could do the ship state, but a lot of times if it's below a certain threshold amount, they're not going to require you to do it.
Yeah. It would have to be probably a large amount.
Yes, but so if it's a larger, if it's like 10, if let's say you sold a car for $100,000, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, or sorry,
They're going to want tax on
if you're
that.
gonna sell an engine for $10,000, I think it's a threshold like $600 for sales tax, or $400. Once you pass that amount, then they want you to report sales tax.
Mm-hmm.
So it depends what state you ship to, because then you have to go on their website and find like a one-time sales tax permit, or you have to create an account with that state and then then file a return every quarter. So a lot of times it's not worth the hassle for a lot of small businesses.
Yeah, it's not.
So
Unless you're
definitely
doing
not.
repeated.
But because that's the thing here, you're selling, you're doing like a over the phone order. Most other people will have that order taken via eBay, Amazon,
Yeah.
or if they third party platform, or if you have your own website. If you sell from your own website, there are tax softwares you could put into the website where it knows, where like Avalera is one of them.
If you got a website, like let's say I got a website, but it's through Shopify. Shopify handles that.
Shopify does it.
Yeah, I don't do anything with
so
that.
Shopify has that website.
Yeah.
They have that feature for you, because I'm pretty sure that's the biggest sales tax software, as far as I know, is Avalera. And that's what they do. That they sell their tax software to people who don't want to deal with them themselves.
Yeah.
Because it's not for you to hire an accountant full time to do your sales tax for you 24/7. But also, it's like, hey, I have enough. I need to pay somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
Avalera is the one for multi-state sales.
So I know you took some notes. So we're as we were mentioning before,
Yeah, I was gonna say.
we should probably bring up the new changes that come for 2025 or 2026, right?
Well, I was actually gonna start saying, well, tax season's around the corner, right? It's a couple weeks away, technically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
3 weeks away.
Yeah. So
You ready?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
I mean,
Are you ready for my shit?
Your shit? No, your stuff is complicated.
Ready for mine? Mine's simple.
Yours like I don't even know your
It's
tax
W2,
scenario.
bro. It's W2. That's it.
You claiming any kids?
No,
Not claiming anybody?
no.
Why not? That's the worst. A single dude with no kids to claim is the worst tax bracket to be in.
You know,
Do you own a house?
no.
Okay, so that's also painful. The reason that's painful, like prior to 2025, nobody cared
Yeah.
because in 2018 they changed the tax law, so all renters were put on the same level as homeowners. Because they increased standard deduction in 2018 to anybody who rents versus anybody who owns. The SALT tax, the state and local taxes, got capped off at $10,000
For everybody.
for everybody. For married or single, $10,000. So most people at that point in time will have that capped off at $10K. And let's say you put in $2,000 for what's called interest, for mortgage to interest. That was your threshold. You beat the standard deduction of $12K. Now you can itemize your deductions. But most people don't have if you're renting, you got the $12K automatically.
Right.
Otherwise, if your property taxes were $10K and your mortgage interest was $2K, then you could get to that $12K level. But then, then at $12K, you're just meeting it. So you have to surpass it you have to get like $15K, to $16K, to where it starts making a monetary difference on your taxes. Because at $12,001, you save the penny. Congratulations.
Right.
So you have to really beat that number. Now they changed the SALT cap to $40,000.
Oh shit.
Moving forward in
from
2026.
25, yeah, 25. So what that means is instead of 10K, your limit is now 40K. So that the SALT tax puts in the property taxes on your house, and it puts in the the income tax you pay to Illinois throughout the year.
Ah.
So on your W-2, there's a section on the bottom where it says
We're talking. This is federal level, right? This is
federal level. Yeah, but
Right.
federal lets you deduct state and local taxes.
Okay. Salt.
Yeah, state and local taxes. That's what that stands for. So you get to deduct your property taxes, which 10K if you have a bigger house. Now it's like let's say it's 15K. So now you get to write off the whole 15, and you get to write off the income tax paid to the state of Illinois.
Ah.
So that gets you to 20 from the get-go, And then let's say you purchase a new car. So you pay a sales tax on a new car as well. And there's also local taxes. They give you a local tax calculation that we add up and throw it in there as well. So you get that, and then let's say you buy a new car. Let's say it's a hefty amount. Let's say it's a $100,000 car.
Mm-hmm.
You got 10K in sales tax.
Mm-hmm.
So that adds
That's
up too.
tax. Yeah.
That'll add up as well.
Hey, that's a big difference then.
So but now back to the car thing, they also now allow you to write off the interest on a vehicle.
Damn. So now it sounds like it makes more sense to buy a car under personal than under business.
No, because in business you could always write off the interest on a
that's
vehicle.
true.
If you've had a business and you finance the vehicle, you can always write off the interest on it. But for individuals who don't have businesses and they went and go buy a car that's got now you got 7% interest rates, if not higher depending on your credit score.
Yeah.
You got 7 to 12, 14%, or whatever. So that interest you pay every month, you get to write that off on your federal taxes as well. But that comes in. That has to be together. You know what I'm saying? You want to pass standard deduction, so all of your deductions being your charity contributions, your home mortgage, your car interest, and then your state and local taxes.
So I'm not getting a deduction, basically.
Because did you buy a new car?
Nope.
You should probably buy one this year.
I mean, you should buy a house. You should buy a house.
It's too late now. I'm not gonna pay anything.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That because the first payment's not going to
Even
be
if I do it
January,
at the
so
end of
it's
the
too
year,
late now.
doing it in January would be the smartest.
Yeah, because you should buy a house in January. You should buy a house in January because you pay the most interest the first year, obviously.
Yeah.
So the bank gets their cut first before you start paying off the principal.
Question for you.
Yes.
If you have, let's say you have a HELOC, can you write that interest too?
Yes, you can.
Oh, okay.
So the HELOC is to write off an interest as well. So anything you take, you use that money to remodel your house, to improve your house.
Yeah.
So it's your main residence.
Yeah.
So you take the HELOC interest and you add it to your mortgage deduction interest as well.
Yeah. Okay. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that part you get to write off, and then also the interest on the car, and then one thing that's for 2020. For you, it's in the future. You want to do the purchase a house tomorrow, and close on it in January. and then buy a new car in January as well. You'll be broke, but you'll be tax rich.
You'll be tax rich.
I
Yeah,
mean,
100%.
Yeah.
So 40 grand is the
new south
damn,
limit,
That's
yeah.
crazy. But that's
Because that's-
So
then
where
who's
do
the
they
help?
get that from though?
Because the main thing is in 2018 when they did that, people in New York were crying because the amount they pay in property taxes in New York
Yeah.
is astronomical.
Yeah.
So now it was capped off at 10K, and they're paying 30K
so
in
10K
taxes.
was the max you could write off at
yeah
the time.
Yeah, for tax deduction.
Now 40K is the
Now
max.
it's 40 for tax for the salt
Anything
tax deduction.
over obviously isn't considered.
Yes,
Okay.
but people in New York they pay real high amounts in income tax because in New York you have the New York state tax and the New York City income tax. You hit with a double tax. A lot of states have a lot of the big cities have a state tax with a city tax. I think Philadelphia has it as well.
Chicago have one?
Chicago does not have a city income tax.
Okay.
Yet.
Knock on wood, yet. They're gonna probably do it in the future. But
We don't live in Chicago, so
You're right that you don't. So you're fine. But any employer in Chicago, you know what I'm saying? All the Google, McDonald's, they're
Yeah.
all employed in Chicago.
well, guess what?
So that's all a lot of people
Y'all
work for
better
them.
vote the correct way and make sure that don't happen.
So that's taking that into consideration. And then what you could do, you can't do it now because you don't know home. Because
You don't have to call me out this much.
This
Jesus Christ.
This is Marcin's
My-
roast.
dude, my
do you
girlfriend's
need a
gonna
real estate agent or I got plenty?
my girlfriend's gonna see this. She's gonna be like, "Yeah, why don't you have a house already?"
I mean, rates are going down.
They are going
So
down.
rates are going down. So you might as well before the prices as rates go down, prices of
Go up.
homes will go up.
Yeah.
That's
So before they start going up, you should get one before they start going up.
actually prices on the houses have been going down recently.
They have been, yes. They have been.
recently, but if the rates keep going down, they will eventually turn back around and start moving
So,
back up.
I mean, right now seems to be a good time to buy because house prices are going down, and the Fed's expected for 2 more rate cuts throughout the year of 2026.
I heard 3.
So 2 to 3, either one's a good number.
Yeah, I mean, we just had the inflation report come out today. Did you see it?
No, I did not catch that.
Crazy. So they were expecting 3% inflation. They came in at 2.7. Huge drop.
Okay,
That's a
I'll
huge
take
drop.
it. I'll take it.
Yeah.
Which only which only points towards more rate cuts.
Yeah.
Because now inflation is on a down, right?
Yeah.
Which is we want inflation to go down.
Hey man,
right?
it's been kind of too high in the previous.
Well,
10 years anyway.
if there's somebody auto pen Mr. George.
Mr. George.
I completely I forgot what his name was. Dude. It's Joe, not George.
Yeah, Joe.
Joe. But anyway, auto pen Joe. But yeah, it's been they were saying all kinds of crazy stuff when Trump came out and said that, the tariffs are going to destroy the economy, this and that. And they actually been improving it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for inflation to go down. You know?
Yeah, for inflation to go down. It doesn't exactly improve everybody's situation.
I mean, look, about the tariffs are real. Like you probably see it more than me. I don't buy. I'm not I'm not purchasing from international
Yeah.
sellers as much as somebody who owns a store, a
Yeah.
retail shop, or
Right.
manufacturing.
Yeah.
The only thing I did, I bought watches from Japan, and then it was shipped via. It was a private seller, or the one on eBay, one was a private seller, but they were shipped via DHL. And before the watch would be arrived at my house, the watch cleared through customs in the U.S., but it was in their warehouse, and by the time they got to the warehouse, they calculated how much I had to pay in tariff tax
Yeah.
to get it shipped from the warehouse in the
I know
U.S.
DHL
Dude,
well.
I
my house.
I got UPS hit me with an import fee the other day from some. I bought a gift, and for my Secret Santa, and it's coming from Sweden.
Okay.
So tell me why, mind you, this is a $50 part, and it came, I know somebody's walked in, but tell me why a $50 part came in. Import fee was $65.
That is wild.
That's crazy.
like-
But that's the
I'm
levy,
like-
that's
I
the
would say
tax,
that-
that's the
I would
import
say that-
charges.
No,
It's
that's just
also-
the import fee.
Because the $50 part, but how much is it actually worth? You might have paid $50 for it,
Yeah.
but the retail
$10?
price is it
It
MSRP?
is a
It goes by
3D
MSRP
printed
as
product.
well.
It is a 3D printed product, which
Yeah.
I was pissed about because I talked to my coworker. He's like, "Oh yeah, I found the file. I can just 3D print it for you." I'm like, God damn.
Okay,
Damn, bro.
but so back to the tax thing.
Actually, I was gonna ask you regarding home purchasing. Is it smarter for people that are eligible for an FHA loan to use it?
That does not matter to me.
It doesn't matter to you.
Tax world, that doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying?
I
if
mean,
you're gonna-
I
if
guess
it's-
it's a higher payment than at that point, right? So it's a higher. Is it? I don't think it's a higher interest. I guess.
I guess the same interest rate. So I guess the way it's structured,
Yeah.
the requirements to get the loan are different.
Yeah.
But I don't. But there are no like benefits for FHA versus for other loans. As far as the tax world is concerned, it's all the same.
Okay,
A mortgage is a mortgage, and there's no first-time home buyer credits, stuff like
Yeah,
that.
right.
It's just mortgage is a mortgage.
Okay. Just curiosity.
But one of the things that is going away for homeowners is the homeowner energy credit, because the EV credit for cars is gone.
Yeah.
So that's gone.
true.
So now there
That
was
was $7,000, right?
Yeah, there was 7,000, and then there is till end of the year a credit for energy efficiency of your home. If you made your home more energy efficient to where the Nightcore ComEd bill was cheaper, in layman terms, then you got a credit for that.
Well, I qualify for that. I
So-
turned off my minors.
So if you did no, but here's the credit. You have to install, let's say, an AC unit, you have furnace, a geothermal energy, or windmill. What's it called? The biggest things for most consumers, for most everyday people, is the AC unit, the hot water tank, the furnace, the windows, skylights, exterior doors, and insulation.
Yeah.
Because all those things will help you save money on your energy efficiency.
So that's going away. That write-off
That's
is
going away. So if you have time, the next 2 weeks before December 31st,
If you got to do any updates?
I mean, just go and get windows. Install them yourself if you have to. Go and get windows, get that door, get that receipt, get that payment made before the year end.
Good thing we got a furnace replaced this year.
You don't own a home.
Well,
Yeah.
my dad.
Okay. So your dad's got a credit.
Yeah.
we,
That's your dad's got a credit
All right,
now.
yeah. I've had enough of this. All right,
we got to take a break, so we're gonna take a break, and we'll be right back.
and then just continue roasting me. I
Yeah.
guess. All right. Sorry, we had a
Intruder.
Surprise
something like
guest.
that. You know what?
Surprise
Hey,
guest.
I'll just say this: whoever's watching notices, they'll know. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. That's
the
true.
little things.
So, anyways,
Not that little.
aside from talking shit about me not having a house,
Okay.
we're talking about tax benefits
And the
or
tax changes?
Yeah, tax changes. Before we get to tax changes, my question was, what's the best way to prepare for doing your taxes? Or like, I guess what is like the most relevant stuff that somebody like you who obviously does people's taxes all year round,
Personal or business?
personal or business, that to have ready. Business is going to be a whole different thing.
Yeah,
Business
yeah,
is a
it
whole
is.
different thing because business involves the QuickBooks and the deductions. Make sure
Whoever,
they're all there.
whoever has them, right?
Yeah, so for that, then your accounting software, if you have that as well, to make sure everything's lined up. Because for like, obviously, people hear about QuickBooks all the time. It is the biggest tax system out there.
It is the worst one to work with.
Yeah, because they make because QuickBooks is owned by Intuit, and
Yeah.
Intuit makes TurboTax. They make QuickBooks, and they make like many other accounting and software programs as well. So they are the mafia of accounting and taxes for small individual for small business, anything 5 million or less, or also individuals to find their taxes. Because the other tax programs like Tax Free or H&R Block, but the main one is TurboTax. Everybody knows about it and it's out there. And for that one, getting QuickBooks in line and make sure using QuickBooks is good, but then to double check your work. That's where me and my employee, we come in and we'll do reconciliations for people to make sure that you didn't miss any expenses. Because you want to reconcile your books to make sure that all the transactions are in there. Because great, you purchased some, let's say $1 million in expenses, but then you only put in $950,000 through your QuickBooks. So you forgot, or some of them got double coded, or some of them are extra. You have expenses that don't actually exist. So you want to go through your QuickBooks to make sure that, hey, what's in there is in there, what shouldn't be in there is not in there.
Makes sense.
To make sure it all lines up.
Yeah.
So that's why
Makes
monthly
sense, yeah.
reconciliations, to do your due diligence throughout the year and do a monthly reconciliation as the year progresses to make sure that, hey, your QuickBooks are up to date, because some people will not do it at all. And then come January, hey, I need a whole year's done. I'm like, sorry, not going to happen. We're going to file an extension. There's no way I'm going to go through 12 months of reconciling your data in a week or like 2 days. So it's
a week before your taxes are due. Right?
So like I have other
Yeah.
clients.
Sounds like we're gonna have to do an exemption again this
So I
year.
have other clients. No, because actually also it's like there is a decline in CPAs and tax professionals. Mostly CPAs. There's a decline in the number because it's not a sexy job. It's not on a TV show. Besides the one Ben Affleck movie, Nobody's
The
ever
accountant?
yes, the accountant.
Are you walking around? Huh?
Nobody's ever popularized tax and accounting in any kind of video where it's always like Chicago PD, Chicago MD. There's always like either the
Chicago,
police,
Chicago
the fire department,
Chicago CPA.
yeah, the fire department, the police, the
that paperwork.
doctors, Grey's Anatomy, whatever kind of medical show. They always get the popularity because that's where the exciting stuff happens.
Yeah.
Nothing ever exciting happens in tax. I'm like,
What are you talking about?
You,
Audits are
you never,
exciting as
you
hell,
never
bro.
jump for joy when you save
nobody's
somebody.
dying in tax. There are no emergencies. Like, you don't have to call me at midnight
Listen.
because something's gonna end.
I had not at one time. It was very fucking exciting.
Okay. Yes. Besides, it's exciting. It's the deadlines are soft deadlines. There's always an extension due,
Yeah.
and the penalties versus the stress. The stress is worse than the penalties.
Yeah, I
people
agree.
stress more. Like just pay the $50, isn't it? So it's not worth you stressing about it. Just $50 for a penalty, late fee, or $200, wherever.
That's what we did last year.
Whatever the penalty is, $50 to $200. It's a lot easier than you trying to than you
Getting everything
get
together in the month,
You get
yeah.
panicking the day before.
Yeah.
Just take the penalty, take the hit. It's like you're a business.
What are
I
the
mean,
penalties?
time is money, right? So
Time
it's
is-
like,
yeah.
instead of having to worry about it at the last minute, just take that extension, get the extra. What is it? It's
Either-
extra like 3 months.
It's 6
isn't
months
it?
actually.
6
No,
months.
the
Yeah.
Either-
extension is 6 months.
Either prepare early so that you are on time, so you don't have to stress, or if you didn't prepare early, pay the
Get the-
penalty
yeah,
and
get the
take the extra
extension.
time.
And that's the thing. Like, I tell new clients now, they're like, hey, can you take me on taxes? I'm like, are you cool with an extension?
Yeah,
I ask
because
them ahead of time because if you're not cool with extensions, that I'll try to get it done before we'll try to get it done before the April 15th deadline. But I'm like, I tell them extensions they exist for a reason because
Yeah.
we can't get it all done in time.
yeah,
And that's the thing is like how can somebody be prepared? The main thing for an individual is to make sure you have all your 1099s in order, because the main every go getter and now every hustler, everybody wants to make get ahead in life, has more than one income.
Right.
Because unless you have a awesome W-2 job that makes bank money, you don't need additional income, but everybody wants a little side hustle, a little bit of generation. They want to try something on the side. They have a talent, they have a skill that they're not using on a daily basis. That they want to do something else. They want people to get weekend jobs.
Yeah.
How many real estate agents start off doing it as a side gig?
yeah.
How many contractors that they have the union guys. They got the regular union job, 9 to plumbing, or then they do siders on weekends.
Yeah.
So that's where they do those gigs. So they do more and more stuff. But also, everybody now is an investor as well. Everybody wants to be a crypto investor. Everybody wants to be a stock investor. Everybody wants their money to make money for them while they're sleeping.
Yeah.
So they have additional income, rather be interest in the bank, bonds, that they invest in, or they're doing stocks. And then when they get stops, they go, hey. They heard about options. They want to try options trading.
Don't do it.
They want to try futures trading. They want to try commodities. There's forex. There's so much there's a million ways to make $1 million.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
exactly. If you have money spread out over different investments, then you have to get those investments in order. So that
Yes.
when you submit it to him, basically he goes to the numbers and says, "All right, you made this much, you lost this much."
Yeah, because
Give me the
that
transactions.
all falls into capital gains.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And a lot of people either they try to Airbnb, so they Airbnb a place, or they bought a rental property. So that's all the things they need to get in order. Because the easiest one is like all the 1099Bs for the brokerage accounts. They come in about mid-February for the most part. So I tell people, if you've been investing, don't even call me before mid-February because you don't have anything ready.
Yeah.
That form's not
Right,
out yet. So
right.
there's no way possible you have that form ready before mid-February.
Yeah.
So those 1099Bs come out and those 1099Ks. That's where you get your 1099 NECs and 1099Ks is where you get your sales that you did on Mercari, Poshmark, eBay, Amazon. Because everybody's they want to try selling stuff, see how it goes.
Yeah.
And I've seen people even though you don't, there are people they'll buy the product and they'll sell it. End of the day, they don't make a profit because hey, they tried it wasn't worth it for them.
You got to show it though.
But you still got to go through that
Yeah.
process. You got to tell the
Right.
IRS that you sold $25,000 on Amazon, but you have $25,000 in cost of goods sold, so it didn't work out for you. It's a learning curve, but especially after the Amazon fees and eBay fees, because they take
Yeah.
a hefty percent too,
Okay, they
which you
do.
don't prepare for, Because you're thinking I'm going to make money, but then you're like, hey, I got to pay Amazon 13% or eBay 13%. There goes your profit margin.
Yep.
So, but you still have to, even though you didn't make as much as you wanted to, because Amazon, eBay, whomever is still going to report you to the IRS that
Yes.
they paid you money,
yes.
and then you have to report that in taxes because that's
Your
that's the
duty-
biggest thing is people I have people that sold stock, and they had a year where they ups and downs, but end of the year they broke even. So they're like, I didn't make profit, I don't have to sell, I don't have to report. I'm like, no, you sold 40 grand worth of stock. 40 grand worth of stock it doesn't happen in a day for most people. So you have to
Right.
report that you sold 40 grand worth of stocks, but your cost base is also 40 grand.
Yeah.
You lost 500 here, 1,000 here. You made 500 here. You made 1,000 here. Even net effect is zero. So you got to go through the hoops and report it on your capital gains because you have to show. You got to show your long-term versus short-term investments because that's where it, takes into effect. Capital gains go in the short-term versus long-term investments. The average individual, the middle class, like the tax brackets start off at 10%. Nobody's paying less than 10% on your income after standard deduction. It goes 10 to 12, and then once you hit middle class, it jumps from 12 to 22%. So then it goes to
what's middle class?
For individual, for married or individual?
Both, I guess.
Okay, give me 1 second. The newest for 2025 or 2026?
2026.
I guess no, 5 because they're going to be doing taxes.
2025. Let me tell you right now. So after
right?
standard deduction, this is after your deductions. This is your taxable income.
Yeah.
So we talked about the.
So this is before like income and
this
income
is
federal
this
tax?
is after the house write-offs. This is after the interest on the vehicle. This is after your charity contributions, your standard deduction.
Which, by the way, Ofiara in church is a contribution.
If you're doing
and
enough.
also medical expenses are also a deduction.
Oh, sorry, I haven't been in a hospital this year either.
That's a blessing in disguise, isn't it? The way medical expenses work, that also gets piled on to the. First of all, let me backtrack.
Backtrack to this.
Let me finish off
that
the
thought.
brackets
Finish
first.
that
Sure.
thought.
Yeah, I'm all over the place. The 2025 brackets. Here we are.
Join the club.
That's true.
So, for a single individual, once you make 40, once your taxable income is $48,500, technically 48,475, you jump at the middle class bracket. So if anything past
such a
48,475, anything past that, it goes to 22%.
So what's upper class? Or
So you're at middle class for individual is from 48,000. So let's say 48.5 to 103, and then once you pass up 103, you are going to upper middle class. And you stay there. So upper middle class, they only pinch you for 2% more. It goes from 22% to 24%.
Which is not much of a.
From middle to upper.
To the lower middle class to upper middle class,
yeah.
they pinch you once you cross 103,000, they pinch you 2% more in tax. Because they know they
Which
they know they
if you had 103.5, it's not worth it. But if you're
I know it is because anything over the 103 gets taxed at 2%. It's not everything, but it's not your whole income. That's why it's a bracket system. So like the first 48,000
my first 48,000
is taxed at 12%.
and then
Then
after that,
the money you make from 48 to 103 is taxed at 22%.
Oh, that's how it works.
That's how it works. And then you go from 103 to 197. That's taxed at 24%. So that's a 2% increase. Once an individual makes over 197 taxable income, you're rich. The rich bracket that starts at 32%. And that's your rich category. And then once you go to over $250,000, you're at 35%. And once you make $626,000, you get 37%. That's the cap. The cap for the individual is 37%, which is the same for married, but the number is 626.
So
would you just double that for?
No, it's actually it's very close, but not. The lower numbers are doubled. The higher numbers are not doubled. So if you're married, you become middle class when you're married at 97,000.
Together,
so for
right?
a married couple, that's 97,000, and then once you cross that number, you go to middle class 22%.
Okay.
And then from 97 to 207, you're lower middle class, and at 207 to 395, you're upper middle class.
So you're saying I should just get married really quick?
I mean, it also depends how much does your girl make. Because if she
more than Marcin.
here's the question, because a lot of people expect a deduction with her married, and that is like let's say you're making 100, and she's making 100. So you're in the 22% bracket, she's in the 22% bracket.
I'll just make 9.
And when you join together, you're 200,000.
Right.
You're still in the same bracket.
Well, I'll just make 95. And I'll make her, not work.
There you go. That's a wonderful thing. So I'm gonna talk about that next. But then, as from 395, you become a rich married couple, and then once you hit $500,000, you go to 35%, and once you hit 750, you are maxed out 37%.
Huh.
So the 37% consists of what exactly? What tax does that consist of? Does that include federal tax,
That's
Social
just federal.
Security?
That's just federal.
Just federal.
Everything I gave you is just federal taxes. That's
Just federal.
including Social Security, Medicare, and Illinois. So those taxes go on
Damn,
top
bro. So
of what
by,
I just told
so
you.
by the time you're already there, you're 50%.
Oh, yeah. But by the time, well, also, let's say Medicare never stops. You keep paying Medicare no matter how much money you make. Social Security has a income limit.
Oh.
Social Security because when you put into it versus when you take out of it. So once for 2025, the Social Security limit is 176. So after you make 176, you stop paying Social Security taxes for that year. The reset comes January 1st. So let's say you're making $200,000 throughout the year.
You'll
got a
probably
good
hit that
job.
in like October.
You hit that number. You hit that number like end of October, yeah.
Yeah.
So you'll notice your paycheck, your take-home pay, gets about 6% bigger come November and December, because you already hit that quota.
Interesting.
And then you stop paying the tax. So that's the same thing for also like, because when you withdraw Social Security, there's a max amount you can withdraw.
Yeah.
There's a limit. They don't have people taking out crazy amounts of Social Security, because there's a max limit for withdrawal once you get 65 and older.
Got it.
So it's a two-way street. There's a max how much you could contribute, putting the money into it. Don't get me wrong, it's still a scam. It's still
That's literally what I was about to ask you.
It's still
what do you
not
think of Social Security? Is it a scam?
I mean, it's never funded. It's never going to be funded.
No, I know.
It's never going to be funded. And if they scare people, like any politicians scare people, like, hey, it's running out of money. Guess what? All they have to do is go click, print more money.
And inflate
it. That's all they're gonna do, because instead of paying grandpa, like if they have the options between not paying grandpa and grandma and pissing off every elderly person in the U.S., or they just go print more money, what are you gonna pick?
Yeah,
You're gonna lose the votes if you don't pay them for the Social Security.
That's the whole point. That's the whole point about the dollar losing value, about money losing value.
What?
If there is a short that need it, they'll just print more, which means that your dollar that you have today is worth less tomorrow after they print it.
What happens to Social Security if you like pass away early?
I'm sorry, if you die early,
Yeah.
Collected by the government.
that means the government benefit. So if the longer
So,
you live, the more it costs the government.
Yes.
If you die at 65, they're happy as hell, because
COVID was good for them.
they racked up your Social Security benefit to put in their pocket.
COVID was good for the government.
And it's a thing. It's always been a deficit, because always people more collecting, because it's based on future people.
Yeah.
Because just like in many countries in Europe, they have laws now. If you have X amount of kids, you don't have to pay Social Security.
Because those kids will be working, making money
Or
for
pay taxes. Because that's the thing. It's like, hey, once those kids go to work, they'll be paying taxes for you, the old person. So
Right.
they invest in your reproduction, to have more children, and that's how you get Social Security. That's how they get Social Security for the future. So
That's
they're
smart.
assuming your kids are going to get W-2 jobs.
Pay their fair share.
Pay their fair share of taxes.
Fair share.
The problem is when the children of these of your current parents don't get legit jobs,
Or leave the country.
or they don't pay their fair share. They're all doing they're all under the table,
Yeah.
or they're all collecting for the
program isn't being
program, so they're not paying, they're not working anywhere. Then it becomes a bigger deficit. Then it becomes a bad idea.
Yeah.
But it's
Paying
based
illegals
on
on Social Security is also probably not a good idea. So I mean,
Sorry?
paying illegals to be here that are here for Social Security also probably doesn't help the system.
They don't pay anybody with an ITIN number does not get paid Social Security, or it shouldn't get paid. That
Shouldn't get paid.
I know there was a lot of corruption. Elon Musk, they found out with that, people that were dead are getting Social Security
200 years old.
because that's because people who have an ITIN number do not collect Social Security.
Yes, they don't have a Social Security number.
Yes,
Right.
but but when they file taxes, they're required to pay Social Security taxes.
Which should be that way, right?
And the logic behind that is because, hey, this ITIN number will later be converted to a Social Security number. The years you worked will be count towards eligibility, the amount
That
you
makes
collect
sense.
when you're older.
That makes
So
sense.
that's why. So you have an ITIN number and you pay Social Security taxes, and they see you're a good, outstanding citizen paying your taxes. Once you go from ITIN to Social Security number, then you guarantee to collect it.
Yes.
It moves over.
It moves over.
shifts,
So your history transfers over, because
Right,
it's not
right.
like it disappears.
I think Paul's referring to people that don't have that number, though.
Yeah,
And those people are not getting Social Security who don't have that number.
I mean, they shouldn't be, right?
It shouldn't be. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If somebody's dead for 10 years, but somebody's still collecting Social Security because they're dead in the fridge,
Yeah.
I've heard stories like that. Shit was crazy, People, there was an example that just recently where somebody, I think the mom died like 10 years prior, and the daughter kept her in the fucking freezer or some shit for like 10 years.
Dude, I had a friend
and collected Social Security, and that's what she lived off of?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Because the older generation, they had more Social Securities or pensions they had from
Yeah.
they had government jobs, they worked for government or railway, they had
Or
pension
union or
plans.
whatever, yeah.
So like my friend, she was working at a hospital, and grandpa and grandma was dying, and the family members were like, keep them alive till the first. Keep them alive until the first. They're like, what? And she couldn't figure it out. Well, like, they're dead. They're brain dead. Why do I keep them alive till the first? Like, the first came. They got paid for them. So that's why. Because the money came through direct deposit.
It's messed up.
Messed up, but that's what a lot of hospitals.
I mean, listen.
A lot of families were begging to keep the parents. The grandma alive until the
right.
first. Hey, it's the 20. They just didn't care. Like, give them one more month. Just give them that extra paycheck. But yeah, that's what people. A lot of elderly people. Like their house is paid off, preferably, or they live in or they're living so far below their means.
Yeah.
So far below, not above their means, but they're making the money. So they're helping out the grandkids. They're helping out the kids. They're helping out who
Which
they
is
can.
a lot of Polish families, or like a lot of Polish grandparents, are like the house is paid off usually.
Yeah.
Usually, whatever.
Or they sold the house and moved in with the kids.
Yeah, and they don't have high Social Security payments because they didn't make a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
But they made something, and they probably paid into the program, and then when the time comes, they live within their means. They are able to take some of that money and actually save it.
Yeah.
Obviously, some people, like today's generation, it seems like everybody's gonna be counting on Social Security. You know what I mean? But the previous generation, like the older generation now, is like, we didn't count on it. They did count on it. Obviously, they counted on it.
Yeah.
But they lived within their means.
Yeah, because nobody should count Social Security alone.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to get to.
Because the amount of how much inflation is going up and the Social Security is going up, it's gonna be hard.
Yeah.
So you have to have another savings. Your
401k
401k. You gotta have your 401k, your Roth IRA. If you have your Roth IRA, I recommend Roth IRAs over traditional IRAs. If you can.
I have them both.
There you go. I say max that out every year. Prepare for the inevitable. Because if you want to live long, then yeah. So
you have to have money to live long.
Live long, yes. Even if you take the money and go live in Paraguay, Uruguay, Nicaragua, Ecuador, somewhere,
South.
Somewhere.
This guy really likes South America.
I mean, they have communities in South America for expedites. I forget what it's called.
There is a word for it.
There's a word for it. For older generation.
Yes.
Like the older generation, they leave because the dollar is worth more in a different country. Like, they have people that go to the Southeast Asia, go to Thailand, you go to Bali, wherever. Take a dollar and you go that way. And you live that way because then that way you live in a lot better life, a lot better, a lot better climate. It's not as cold.
Cost of
living.
living.
Whereas you go, wintertime in Chicago, it's getting brutal.
Yeah.
Let's go outside right now.
Yeah.
Fucking door shaking over there, dude. It's so windy outside. But yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's if you go live out there, it's cheaper. It's usually a warmer climate. Usually, it's probably even better food and all. Honestly,
better food, yeah.
Usually more natural. Yep.
I mean, but also then the level of hospital care goes down.
That's true.
Right.
That's good. And then also people don't do it because the hospital, for your prescription, your drugs out here, you already talk to your doctor and you speak your language, and also your family.
Yeah.
The reason you want to stay here is you want to visit your family.
Yeah. I mean, it's all intertwined. It's like it's like me complaining about Illinois all the time, fucking Illinois, but it's hard for me to pick up and just leave. There's family here, there's business
Friends,
here,
family.
there's friends, there's all kinds of different things going on.
There's ties. There's a lot of ties.
There's a lot of ties, and it's hard to pick them up and leave them sometimes.
Plus, you have a good foundation here, so that's why.
Exactly. So exactly. You have a lot of family stuff like that. So I mean, that matters, right? But regardless, you got anything else that's changing? 'Cause we went way too deep in one.
We went off the rails.
Definitely, this podcast is gonna last 4 hours, dude.
So the big ones are no tax on tips.
Not enforced in Illinois.
So that's for the government. For the government, you get to deduct $25,000 on the federal for tips.
No, really.
Or let's say you made $25,000 in tips, you get to deduct that off your wages, off the tip amount. Because there on your W-2 box 7, there's a number that says Social Security tips. Because at the end of the day, because when you pool tips electronically at the restaurant or wherever the bar, so they show you how much they pool tips and they give their amount. So it's done that way. So it's all electrically recorded now.
Unless it's cash.
Cash tips don't count. You can report cash tips on your own, but it's not included on your W-2.
Right.
You're obligated to
why
report.
would you?
You're obligated to report cash tips on your own. Yes.
Hey, I mean, I don't have tips, so I'm not obligated to do shit.
And that applies for people making under $150,000.
Okay. Anything.
For individuals making under $150,000.
Anything higher is
Any higher than that, you don't get that deduction.
Okay.
Because
At
that
all?
which is
no, because you don't get that.
which is
gone.
good. Which is
Yeah.
good because it does help out the people that make less money, right?
Yeah,
Technically, right?
That's what. Yeah, because you make
That's how it's
you make it
supposed to be.
150, you don't need a no tax on tips deductions.
Yeah, right.
Because this is for people who are working 2 jobs.
Yeah.
They're a school teacher from Monday through Friday. Then they're working in a bar Saturday and Sunday, so they
Yeah.
got tax on tips, so it helps them a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what that's made for. People
else we
who
got?
are. And then we have no tax on overtime. The overtime tax. So that is
No one pays me for overtime anyway.
so that is $12,500 deduction.
That's pretty good.
So if you worked, let's say you worked throughout the year, you worked 20 hours, you made 20 G's in working overtime. You get to deduct 12 and a half from that from your W-2.
Federal?
Federal. Yes. And so
This is all mostly federal.
well, federal taxes, yeah, because that does not apply to Social Security or Medicare. It's mostly federal.
Okay.
And that also has a phase out of 150. 300 if you're married. Single person 150. So if you're making, let's say you're a union laborer, and you're pulling in crazy hours as a plumber or crane operator, and you pulled in 170, and pulled in 190. Sorry, you don't get to deduct overtime.
None of it.
No, because you went over that
Okay.
amount. So you want to keep it.
So you wanna
under that
actually-
amount. You want to take
yeah.
your vacation days. You want to keep it under 150, and then you get to deduct $12,500 in. So $12,500.
There's somebody I know exactly, specifically the somebody that I know that I'm gonna tell him, yeah, not as much overtime. You don't
Yeah.
need it because it's gonna cost you more money at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So, just FYI.
Because the mathematics behind it is, 12 at that bracket from 1 to 150, you have 22%. 22% times 12,500. So you're saving about $2,400 in tax.
Yeah, yeah.
For that amount, yeah.
Yeah, for that amount, yeah. That makes sense.
Okay.
And then so that's 300,000 caps out if you're married. Then they got the child tax credit. That nothing changed really. It went from $2,000 to $2,200. So that's pretty much 10% increase for inflation. That's all it is. Not much happening there. Grandpa and grandma have a better senior deduction, where they get an extra 6 G's to deduct.
Okay.
That's good.
That's good.
But there's a phase out for that one, and that phase out is $75,000 per single person. 150 if you're married.
Does that mean that? But technically, Social Security counts as income, right?
Social
That's
Security
what I-
counts
that's-
as income for if you have. Okay, Social Security counts as income. It does, but then if you have no other jobs, then you're fine. But once you have other jobs, unless you have other income, retirement income besides Social Security,
Yeah.
then they tax Social Security.
Okay.
Because there's a rule
Yeah,
for
so
that.
it's either you work or you don't.
Or if you collect, or if you have a great pension plan, 401k, that income will count as income, and then your Social Security gets taxed. If you just have Social Security alone and no other source of revenue, you're paying 0 taxes. But once you have Social, most cases, unless it's some phenomenal, crazy, like $5,000 a month Social Security.
Yeah.
But most Social Security people who are collecting, if that's all they have, they don't pay taxes until that Social Security.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Let's see. It's good to explain some of this stuff because, like, my mother-in-law was asking me, like, how much money should I pull out from the pension that her husband has or whatever, and I'm like, I don't really know. You don't really make any money. You don't work anywhere.
Like, it's how much you need to live on. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Like,
And it's like
and also there's a limit that they have to.
there's RMD, which is a required minimum distribution.
Yes. Yeah.
So after I think 72 and a half, you have to start taking money out of that 401k out of the pension plan. You can't let it just keep growing. You have to start taking money out of it.
Yeah.
The logic behind that is they want to start taxing it, today.
Yeah.
So they want they want you to take money out of it.
Wonder why.
So they want you to take money out today. So that's a RMD, required minimum distribution. That applies to pension plans, 401ks, and IRAs.
Oh, that's interesting. Mm-hmm.
Question for you in terms of 401k, I guess, or pension. If somebody's collecting a pension, an older couple or older person, and they die, what happens to the pension?
There's like any account, any financial account, like a bank account, a stock account. There should be a beneficiary.
Okay, so
okay.
there
You
is
should always have a beneficiary.
Beneficiary needs to be made.
On who gets the account, because in that case, the beneficiary, he or she, whoever, let's say grandpa and grandma died, they left little Luke as the beneficiary.
Yeah.
That person can either take the money out now or roll it into their 401k.
Okay. I don't know.
Depending, you can invest it to your 401k to defer the taxes.
Yeah.
Or depends, or if it's a 403b, if it's a Roth IRA, a Roth 401k, or, a regular IRA, depending which of those instruments it is, that will determine on how you get the taxes to roll it over. If you need to roll it over or not.
It's a beneficiary.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you roll it over, if you're a beneficiary,
I said, "What's up, beneficiary?"
I ain't going. I'm poor, bro. What do you want from me?
I'm saying you're mine, you idiot.
So I take your money. Oh, okay, awesome. That works for me.
Yeah,
We gotta get rid of Marcin.
Both of you not dying soon. You're fine. Because
Hopefully
that's
not.
the thing. It's like, it's like people worry about you be dead. What do you care? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just live a beneficiary, enjoy the money while you can.
100%, yeah,
live with it.
100%.
There's no, you can save some for rainy day, but it's just like after the day, it's like, hey, you gotta live.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
know.
So that's it. That's basically it.
That's pretty much about it. Back to the thing about the vehicle deduction. If let's say you want the vehicle interest deduction, and you make over 100,000, sorry, it starts to phase out.
Ah,
So that's
Which is fair.
Well, sorry,
Which is
that's
fair.
100,000 for a single, 200,000 if you're married.
right.
So that does so. But for $200,000, you know what I'm saying? If you buy a new car, and you have to make it over like 250. Sorry, that the vehicle deduction does
Yeah.
not apply to you.
Yeah.
So they want obviously to sell more cars in America. It's just to sell more cars, and you can't and people gotta finance it. So they want you to take the car no matter what the percentage is. Be like, hey, the salesman new pitches, hey, we got a newer, you get deducted in taxes, so here you go.
Yeah. That
So
makes sense.
That's
That makes
what they're
sense.
gonna
Yeah.
do. You know.
That makes sense. I mean, realistically, they want that industry to move forward, right, and keep producing cars. More manufactured in America is better for more jobs,
Oh yeah.
right?
So that's the
So
thing.
it's kind of
That's
a
why
move.
these guys are trying to get me on 8% all the time.
Yeah, but
For
you
a
can
new
write
car?
it all off.
What's up?
You can write it out. You make over, if you don't make too much over 100,000, because that's the phase out. There are phase out programs, and that probably changes for inflation all the time.
Yeah.
So every year at $100,000 now, next year it should change.
Yeah.
Do you think that the current so based on your opinion, do you think that the new tax change regulations are a good thing or a bad thing?
I mean, most of it, I would say the SALT is a phenomenal thing, especially for people living in New York out there. That helps them a lot,
Yeah.
because they get to deduct a lot of their taxes that they were not deducting before.
Yeah,
So the
not
SALT,
only New
the
York,
SALT increase,
Illinois as well.
Illinois as well, yeah, because property taxes in Illinois, how you go to the north suburbs, you go to, you own a bigger house, bigger
Even
piece
south
of
suburbs
land.
over here.
Yeah, you make a bigger house, but you go to Hinsdale, Burridge, they're paying 30 grand in tax, 30 to 40 grand in taxes on property taxes alone
Yeah.
in Burridge and Hinsdale. So yeah, for those people living there, it helps them out a lot. Also, that limit is good, but the one thing that so most of them is going the right direction. What they do, a lot of the stuff, the law is regarding the previous tax programs they put in, the QBIs and other deductions that were temporary and now are standard, not finalized. Because the way they try out the new tax laws is they put them in as temporary first. Everything's temporary first, and if they like it, if it's good for them, to make it to finalize it to keep it standard. That's like the credits for what's called for the QBI was a small business deduction, 20% deduction. They started it out and they kept going with it. That's gonna stay in forever, Also the ERTC credits, the child tax credits, the daycare credit, that also goes now it's temporary, now it's standard. Like one of them was temporary was the EV credit and the home energy credits. Those were temporary. They didn't like them. They're not going away with those.
Which makes sense. Yeah.
So like they try. Most cases, anytime a new tax law comes in, it'll be around for like 4 years.
And then
Because
it'll become permanent or
After that, that's enough trial period for them to know if hey, we're gonna keep it, we're gonna get rid of it.
Daycare write-off. What? Tell me more.
The daycare write-off. So, if you have a child under age 12, and you have a daycare, you know what I'm saying? And sorry, and you have a child that's going to daycare. The caveat for this is if you're single, you claim that you're working. Both parents have to be working and making more than the daycare cost.
And then you can write that off.
Then you can write that off. And
So
then
if grandma's watching the kids, doesn't count as daycare.
grandma's unless you're gonna send grandma 1099,
Which
that does not fly. Because most cases, every legitimate daycare has an EIN number.
Yeah. Well, it's a
Right,
business.
right.
Yeah, it's the EIN number. So you have to report that EIN number on your daycare tax credit for the child dependent care credits, what it's called technically. Because you got to put down who you paid, their address, and the EIN number, and how much you paid them.
Yeah. Yeah.
In most cases, it's about how much is it? I think it's $600.
Max write-off.
Yeah, per child. Limit 2 kids.
Yeah. Damn.
So it's not like it's
for the year.
For the year. No matter how much you pay, if you pay 10 grand, if you pay 4 grand or 10 grand, Sorry.
600.
Your write-off's about,
That-
sorry, six grand, yeah. So we're about, the actual in
You
your
got excited
pocket.
for nothing over there, Paul.
No, I was just gonna bring up the fact that
the actual credit is a very minimal. I mean, it's not compared to how much daycare costs.
Yeah.
It's not efficient. You know,
But that's what I was
It's
going to talk about. Is I had a friend come out, a friend of mine, a business friend, whatever, from Dubai. He came out here, and I met with him earlier this week, and so we were just talking random stuff, and he's like, "What do you guys? How much does daycare cost for you guys?" And I'm like, "What do you mean daycare?" He's like, a nanny, right?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Dude, nanny?" And he said, before I even said anything, he's like, "In Dubai, you pay like $1,000 per month for nanny."
That's a great deal.
I'm like,
It's a good deal.
what? How much? And he's like $1,000. I'm like, bro, it's like $150 to $200 a day
Day.
Yeah.
here. He's like, oh, that's why some people don't go to work. And I'm like, yeah, bro, because it
Yeah.
almost makes no sense.
No,
Yeah.
no, it doesn't. Especially when the child's young. You know what I'm saying? It makes no sense.
Yeah. He's like, does your wife work? I'm like, no, she usually watches the kids most of the time. And realistically, he's like, why don't you get a nanny? And that's when we started talking about it. He's like, oh, nanny in Dubai is like $1,000. I'm like, bro, nanny in America is like $150 to $200
Yeah,
a day. He's
yeah.
like, oh, that makes sense why she was at home.
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah,
You know what I
because so daycare credit, like I said,
Oh, shit.
it's about $600 is the max per child. You know, because it's $3,000 credit for one. You can write off $3,000 per kid, limit 2 kids, and the credit
The
caps out.
child credit?
That's how it works. It's a $3,000 per kid, limit 2 kids, so $6,000 total, and you get 20% of that money back. The credits worth 20%.
Sorry.
So $3,000. I know tax is boring. I know.
You did say it. You
yeah,
did say
I'm not
it.
lying.
But you know what? This is very
No,
informative.
this
This is
has been
so
a-
much
no,
information.
I wish
This
I had
has
like a
just been a
whiteboard to
long
go on
episode.
numbers. Yeah, but so the tax thing. So you have one kid, you
Alan.
spend 3 G's, or you spend 10 G's or 30 G's. Your 3 G's is your cap. 20%, $600 you get back in your pocket. Times 2, you get $1,200 back because your limit is 2 kids.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that is kind of rough.
That's crazy.
During COVID, it was a lot more. During COVID, it was like 8 G's,
I seen that, yeah.
and you get 50% back.
Oh, wow.
So you were getting $4,000 per kid. Now you're getting $600 per kid.
Which kind of doesn't make sense if you think about it. COVID
No.
people were sitting at home.
Yeah. So it makes
Yeah.
no
What the
sense.
hell are you paying
You know,
daycare
so
for?
during COVID, you were getting $4,000 per kid for daycare credits. Now you're getting $600. It's like, how does that make sense?
It should be reversed.
Because
Should've been-
because they don't care. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
they don't care anymore.
exactly,
So it's not like it's a legit credit. You know, that's a credit that will definitely help the middle class because both parents have to work nowadays to
Yeah.
bring in income. You know, so it's like, hey, I've got for the child care, let me write some stuff off, and they're like, no.
But that's the other thing is like nowadays it's not like nowadays it seems like both parents are usually working and sometimes one parent works 2 jobs.
Yeah.
It seems like now getting away with just one parent working is very hard unless you are either your business provides you enough. Like if you usually have to have a business at that point.
Yeah, most cases it's got to be business at that point, or you have to like make sacrifices. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
It's
You
like,
like
hey,
work a shit ton.
And there's also a temporary agreement because, like, hey, from the child, from what I see in my clients, from a child from 0 to age 5, once they go to preschool, guess what? So that secondary parent's going back to work.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
right.
So it's a
exactly. They're not
temporary
gonna be sitting
agreement. So
at home,
either you had that money stacked up, or you go into debt. You know what I'm saying? Just to pay it off, just to help go through those times. And
Yeah.
then once
Yeah.
the kids are
Yeah.
back to school, are in school for the first time, then you have the opportunity to go back to work.
Yeah, it's a tough spot
Yeah.
for some people.
Yeah, 'cause
you know?
unfortunately it's a 2-person economy.
Yeah.
And most people don't want to admit that it's hey, you need 2 jobs or to get ahead in this game.
Well, like I said, either you have a business, either you have a very good, well-paying business that pays you well,
Or a good
Yeah.
job. Yeah.
or a good job, or 2 jobs that pay you decent.
Yeah, because there is the silver spoon that got born into money and raised
Yeah,
into
yeah,
money,
yeah, yeah.
the trust fund type.
Yeah.
Which that's unfortunately a majority of Americans, that ain't us.
No.
You got
no.
you start off with nothing and work your way up to something.
Yeah.
So that's
especially from like I just especially from like families like ours, immigrants that came here with nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
You got to start from basically the bottom and work your way up. Like one day when you guys have kids or whatever, because you don't have kids yet.
I don't have children. No.
Yeah.
Later.
One,
Oh, yeah, that's not bad. Can't write it off.
Yeah.
I didn't make sure that he only makes $1 a day.
And like the inheritance tax, that's where it's stupid high. Because as a married couple, you could give away $27 million to your kids without paying an inheritance tax. So it's like, okay, so that the rich stay richer because they keep handing
That
money
makes
down.
sense.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
it's 27 million in value. So like you have one property, you have one house in, let's say, Florida. You got
Yeah.
3-4 flats or 3-6 flats. You know, a hotel somewhere, and you could give away $27 million to your children without paying the gift tax.
That would, but in total, not per year.
No, total
per-
through lifetime.
and
Lifetime, yeah.
So-
kid?
No, per the person giving the gift pays the tax.
Okay.
That's how that works. Because if you have enough money to give it away, you
can
got
pay
enough
the
money
tax.
to pay the tax.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's
What's that-
13.6 million for an individual, 27 for a married couple. That number goes up every year for inflation as well.
That should actually go down.
Should, yeah.
That should actually start at like 10 million.
And now it's like, you know, for individual 13.6.
That's the rich taking care of themselves.
Very much so, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's, you know, if you're at that level already, you're
Yeah.
part of the rich club. You know what I mean? You're not.
If you got 13 million, so you got 13.6 as a single dude. If you got 13.6 laying around, you're not worried about you're not worried about the price of chicken at Jewel.
Yeah.
Exactly. You're just gonna go and buy
Exactly.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's unfortunately that's not the situation that most of America is in.
Yeah.
You know, there's the proportions in America are
Yeah.
pretty skewed in I mean how much of the U.S. population is in the top 1%?
It's
Right.
minimal.
Minimal.
It's minimal, yeah.
Yeah, minimal. What is the most in terms of America?
But if we tax them, it solves all our problems.
That's bullshit too.
If we were to- if they just change this one law, you know what I'm saying, the inheritance tax law, that'll make a huge difference.
That would make a
Yeah.
huge difference. But so generally in America, what percentage of Americans fall into the middle class, and then what percentage falls into like the lower
Upper
class?
middle class. Or,
Lower
That-
class.
how much percent? I mean, obviously,
But
the
you
middle,
would think
the
the
middle,
most-
the middle class pays the most of the bill.
Yeah, which is
It's most of the bill is
Yeah.
funded by the middle class because that's the thing. I was reading an article about how the IRS does audits. When you're a multimillionaire, you don't have one Eddie defending you. You have a team of 12 Eddies defending you.
yeah.
yeah.
So their team of lawyers and CPAs, they fight the IRS to such a degree that, hey, either the IRS agents they'll drag out a case for like 6 years.
Yeah.
The IRS agent will either quit, and the new guy will take the place, and they'll even hire the IRS agent to work for them. They'll buy out the agent
Yeah.
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 because there's no law saying you can't buy them.
Yeah.
So like,
oh.
I have an accounting firm. You're not an agent. You're fighting against me on a client. I could hire you.
And there goes there resolves your problem.
So there you go. So they know what they know about the inside. So there's
Yeah.
no law regarding that. So they fight because they have like, a team of 10 CPAs on their standby, 24/7. On their payroll. Like, hey, I can afford to fight the IRS, and they do it because because if the bill is $3 million, they'll spend $2.8 million on defense.
yeah.
Right, right.
Just and they come up with 200,000. But whereas that they don't a win's a win.
Yeah,
as
it was
long
a
as,
win,
long
yeah.
as it's under three, like I said, the bill is $3 million. As long as it's under $3 million, still won.
Yeah. Exactly. Well,
And
yeah,
they'll
exactly.
spend $2 million or $3 million, 2.8.
So who do you think is audited the most? Middle class or lower class?
Middle class is audited. The middle class is audited the most because it's hard to get money at the lower class. Because 10%.
And this is why the middle class gets fucked every time.
Because if you're if paycheck to paycheck and you have nothing in your savings, what are they going to garnish?
Right.
You know what I'm
exactly.
saying? They can't garnish. Unfortunately, it's what what you're in because hey, they only can't take from somebody that doesn't have anything.
Yeah.
If you have a car, you know what I'm saying, you got more, you got paying your house off. Guess what? You have money in the bank, you have investments, you have financial instruments that are electronic that they can seize.
You
Right.
can seize, yeah.
Because
Except
it's
Bitcoin.
electronic,
Keep
financial
cash.
instrument, yeah.
Cash.
Cash, keep gold, keep them bricks, whatever.
I don't
whatever
have
it
no
may be.
bricks. I
You have
don't
no
know
gold
what you're
bricks?
talking
Okay. But there's
Poorest motherfucker on Sesame Street.
there you go. But obviously
On this
because
street.
they're not gonna. I was an auditor, and when I was auditing,
Oh,
if it was
hell.
less than for sales tax for business,
Run!
so if the bill was less than 2 G's, they'd be like, don't let me put it in, like because by the time that $2,000 bill goes from my desk to my supervisor to admin to somebody in Texas to review it,
Yeah,
somebody
yeah,
to
yeah.
file away, all those individuals hourly pay and the time it moved from pushing that paperwork through costs about $2,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they don't make any money on it. So that's why it's like anybody. So they have to make sure they can collect.
Yeah. Well, that's the situation that happened to me back in the shop years ago, like 2020, whatever it was, right before COVID, where I got audited by the state for sales tax.
Yeah,
And they sent me a bill for like fucking 40 grand.
that's the most common audited sales tax
But it was
audit.
like, oh, this is just a voluntary. I'm like, this is where shit's getting sketchy right away off the bat. I'm like, this doesn't sound voluntary. basically they sent me a bill for like 40 grand in sales tax due from the business, and I'm like, what the hell? Like I've been paying sales tax the entire time. Long story short, after spending fucking 10 grand on an accountant and like 5 grand trying to figure out all this other crap, my bill ended up being 3 grand
Okay.
in taxes due.
Right.
Yeah.
And I paid that, and we're squared. We're good.
Yeah,
right?
but
like,
they
what the
start
hell?
high. They start high because if they scare you, they scare you at 40. Guess what? You gotta pay attention.
Yeah.
If they give you a 3 grand bill, you throw it to the side.
Yeah. Well, you pay it and you just
pay it,
move
forget
on.
about it. Yeah, but they want to get you
exactly.
40, so hey, the entire thing is serious.
The whole confusion that became with that was because the fact that they couldn't read they couldn't read we had an Excel sheet, a spreadsheet, where everything was there. They just didn't know how to read it because the way we had it organized.
Yeah.
They were confused. But my account's like, at the time it wasn't you, it was somebody else, because now you are my accountant, obviously.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully for the foreseeable future. Yeah. And at the time, my accountant was like, do not bring them to your shop. Don't do this. Don't do that. Like, you don't want them at your place. They're going to, they'll just opens more can of worms. And I'm like, yes, you're right. But if they don't know how to read the books, the only place to show them how to read the books is at my place. And the lady came.
Yeah.
I think she came like 3 times.
All right.
She looked at the books. She read the books. She understood the books, went through it, and said, you owe about 3.5 grand taxes.
Yeah, because when I was an auditor, we had to have FaceTime with that was the things we had to go to the client, We had to show a presence.
Yeah.
So even though you don't want us, see people didn't want auditors there, like we have to be there. Like just let us in. We're not here to steal. We're not gonna steal your pens and your coffee from the room.
You're not the Secretary of State,
we're not,
which when they come and ransack your shit.
Yeah, we're not gonna. We asked for a nice room, like the bigger. No, like we asked when I worked for Comet, when I auditing Comet or certain like the big industries that top 500. They would give us a room. Actually, they had an audit room because they knew, like, hey, this week it was Illinois. Next week's gonna be Texas. Then California. So every week, a different audit was coming in.
Yeah.
Because so they had a staff devoted to dealing with sales tax auditors and franchise tax auditors, income tax auditors. So they have rooms devoted for individuals like us.
With all the information, they're probably already there. You just gotta look.
No, just for room for us to work in.
Oh, okay.
Room for like a big table
They
with
just give them
internet.
an office.
Yeah, pretty much give them an office.
Yeah.
Like some privacy office, and they'll meet, close to their office. They'll meet with us twice a day. Like, hey, what do you need? Okay, let me give it this. I'll come back to you. You know what I'm saying? They come back with a USB or send an email, whatever the case.
Yeah, that audit was kind of sketched me out a bit. Not that it sketched me out, it kind of freaked me out because I was like, dude, there's no way.
Anytime anybody hears auditor, they're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like
my friend
it's an alert word.
It's like a boogeyman. Yeah, Baba
It's
Yaga.
like the Baba Yaga. It's just like scare words. You go to a doctor, like he says tumor, you freak out. You go to an accountant, he says audit. You're like, oh shit. You go to a finance guy, you go the company went bankrupt. Your company went bankrupt. You're like shit.
Yeah.
So there are certain keywords that have shock value, and that's what they're for.
Yeah, that was definitely a learning curve for me. I mean, like I said, after that, I'm like, I understand this better now. I get the concept of obviously the audit and everything, and how it worked out and everything. It's just the approach wasn't the smoothest, and it's not supposed to be.
No,
it's supposed to be like, yo, you fucked up. We gonna take whatever we need to take and whatever. But at the end of the day, it was just a miscommunication and looking at certain things.
Yeah, because I mean the auditors don't get a commission. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
I wish they did. I wish they did, because I was bringing in millions for the state, and I didn't get no. My pay was matter if I did a good job or a bad job. My pay was the same.
Can you pay off an auditor?
No, you can't pay off auditors. They ask us. It's a whole thing about bribes and auditors. We tried.
I'm sure there is.
Hey, you want to go out to dinner with us later?
There's a whole thing about that for auditors, and then it's just like these companies, the big ones, let's say Ford or Fiat. You know what I'm saying?
They're not gonna bribe you.
They have cookie jar accounts for audits already built into the budget. Because they know they're coming, you know what I'm saying? So they have cookie jar accounts that they have, they have accounts set up into the budget planning. Hey, we need to reserve, say $250,000, $1 million, $3 million for audits for this year. That's like an audit expense.
Yeah.
So they have to have that in there then the audit manager, the sales tax manager from that particular company, their bonus is based on how much of the account did you use.
That makes sense.
So that's how they're like, hey, we knew how much.
It's a good incentive for the audit manager. Absolutely.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you keep your books straight,
everything's good.
That's the whole point.
They want to keep you legal, but it's just like keeping up with the laws. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Keeping up with the laws, the updates, and make sure that everything's like it's hard knowing it and implementing it, two different things.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you could know how to build a house in theory, but once you do it with your hands, different story. Working on a car when you have the YouTube video, makes sense. And then you try to rent it yourself. oh, it's not going
Or
anywhere.
like that video
Is
was
it
like,
the
all right,
YouTube
guys,
mechanics?
this is the hardest bolt to take out. And then it skips. All right, we got it out. And it doesn't actually
Yeah.
show you how to do
Guy
it.
fucking using the saw and everything, dude.
2 hours later.
Yeah. No, I'm saying they're like, all right, we got to take this out now. This is the hardest part. And then he just skips to the next scene where they already have it out. All right, guys, so we took it out. And it doesn't tell you anything about how to do it.
Yeah.
Well, listen. I mean, this was a very
I have one more question before you start doing the wrap up.
For the goodbyes. Okay.
No, so obviously you're super busy, so I'm not gonna say everybody go to Eddie. But what do you think? What should? Let's say I'm going to a different accountant.
Okay.
What should I be expecting out of that accountant when it comes to tax season? Even if it's personal, if it's business, or if it's personal with like I have some investments. What should I be expecting from my accountant?
The accountant, well, the first thing he's going to ask about all your income. He's going to try to get your snapshot of when you're making money, what you're doing,
Right.
and what your plans are. Because I'll look at people and be like, hey, I'll look at their W-2, but hey, you put in $4,000 into 401k. You planning for retirement, or because 401k is the tax deduction.
Right.
So individual, I'll go off that. If I'm having, because you plan a meeting with me, and I'll give you about half an hour to an hour of my time.
Right.
So depending on how complicated you are, I'll be like, okay, here we got the plans coming through, and I ask you, I'll tell you, like, for the last about a couple of years, I told people, hey, go install Windows to your house. Go install, go buy. I tell people go buy EV. I had a list of EV cars, people to buy.
I remember when you called me. You're like, go buy a Hummer.
That's different. That's different.
I heard that was a really good tax.
That was a ComEd incentive, but that was nothing to do with federal taxes. But yeah, but there's like I'll ask them what your plans are for the future.
Yeah.
Because if you're gonna plan to do like I will push the Roth IRA. The Roth IRA will not help you today. You will not save any more money today. But guess what? 40 years from now, 30 years from now, you'll be like, hey, Eddie, give me good advice. Now I got a cookie jar of tax-free income I can pull up anytime. So I give advice that's not gonna help you today, help you
Right.
tomorrow. If you're not with me 30 years from now, so be it. But I gave you good advice for the future. Because if you're planning, like most people plan a year ahead of like taxes, like, hey, you know how much you know the job you're gonna have.
Right.
Let's just changing careers. You know how much you're gonna make next year. Most cases, you'll be off 10%. But if you have a steady job, if you're a business owner, there's a lot more gray area. Obviously, you know how much sales are going to be. But when you're an employee for W-2, you have a salary negotiated with your employer, or you have an hourly rate.
Right.
And the hourly rate, you're going to do 40 hours a week. You're going to try to do 40 hours a week.
Right.
So you're going to know how much is coming through. So like, hey, do you buy a house this year, or buy a house next year? Yeah, I'll tell most people, like, do not buy a house from October to December, because that interest you get to write off went to the wayside. You threw it away.
Yeah.
So I would say buy a house, in January.
Right,
Everybody
right,
coming
right.
through, and I'd say, then like, hey, did you max out your IRA? Did you have any? I'm like, obviously you can't tell somebody to have kids. There's adoption credits, but that's a different scenario. But now the new car credit, like, hey, you qualify for new car credit, go get that.
Yeah. Right.
So I'll be telling them, like, well, this is your job. What are you gonna do? And also to give, I'm not polite to the fact where I'll tell you what you want to hear. I'll tell you what's gonna be good for you.
Yeah.
Because I'm not here to kiss your butt. Like, if you don't like the way I do I do your taxes, you can go somewhere else.
Right.
I tell them, like, hey, this is what's gonna help you. I'm putting in my best efforts to get you pushed through along. Get you fine. Like, make sure we didn't miss anything. Because if you're doing crypto or stocks, I'm like, hey, how much are you gonna make? And I've made the mistake myself where I'm like, if I hold on a little bit longer, I'll keep it for long-term capital gains.
Yeah.
But guess what? Paying 22% on a profit versus taking a loss, you're better off taking 20%. I did it second hand. This is what I do with my hands. I talk with my hands a lot. But that's what I do. I should have paid. He said, F it, paid the taxes.
Join the club.
Yeah, so that's why I tell him, hey, you good with this advice? I'm like, can you sell it now, or it's a risk factor,
Yep.
Because
exactly.
it's not the risk factor is not worth. Paying taxes hurts. But it's better. Like somebody once told me,
better to take profit than no profit.
it's better to pay. Let's say 27%, because 22% federal, 5% for Illinois. It's better to pay 1/3 to the government on something than 0 on nothing.
Yeah. Right.
So you better make the money. Just pay. You still have to get off with something, and then you have your deductions. Like later on, like, hey, once you save enough money, you will get the deductions eventually. You'll buy the house eventually. You'll get married eventually. You'll get the kid eventually. So your deductions will come through.
Right.
So if we just make the money now, because then with the money you make now, you're gonna invest it. And that's gonna create more income as you're older.
Right.
That's what you want to happen.
I just realized that I followed this account.
We follow this account.
You should follow this account.
My account. Personal account. I don't have many friends on my Instagram.
Okay.
Anyways.
Anyways, thanks for the
Yeah,
interruption.
Yeah.
On that note, it's been a great night. Nice talking
But
to you
it's
guys.
been a great
yeah.
night. Yes, it has been a
Thank
very
you,
great
Eddie.
night. It's been a very interesting night for sure.
Yeah, we had
Yeah.
some extra activities come by.
But no, seriously, on a serious note, it was cool to have you here and then going through all that information and everything, dude. It's very like useful. If anybody's like, if anybody who's actually listening and wants to pay attention to this kind of stuff, this will help you. This will give you some knowledge, going to do
Yeah.
your taxes for next year, right? I mean,
this is one thing, and plus there's a bunch of Instagram and YouTube CPAs that are giving that they make their living on giving advice instead of filing tax returns.
yeah, exactly.
Because they'll put out the videos, but the same guy doing the video is not the same guy doing your taxes.
yeah,
Right.
exactly.
So that's the thing. I see those companies that they have the guy, giving the spiel, the little videos, like he's giving stuff, but then his taxes is completed by somebody else.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
you can't. This takes time. Like you guys do put out the video, you have to edit it. It takes a lot of time, a lot of hours. There's no way somebody could do everything at once.
not
We're only
enough,
human.
Yeah, not enough time in
Yeah.
a day for
Yeah,
everything.
so-
But I appreciate you coming. I appreciate the gifts because obviously you give us a nice 18-year whiskey of your Scotch whiskey that Marcin's probably going to enjoy more than me.
True.
Fair enough.
And thank you for all the information and for coming on with us.
Lovely.
It
Yeah,
was awesome.
It's been fun.
And I'm
been
tax
fun.
poor.
You are tax poor, yeah.
We're tax
You are
rich.
in the worst bracket to be in.
I'm the
That's the name of the episode. I'm
Speaking
tax
of
poor.
which, by the way, I'm also a minister. If you need to get married by the end of the year, I am also a minister in the
you know what
Universal
the
Life
problem
Church.
is my girlfriend is watching this, or she will be watching this, and she's
Yeah.
gonna be like, "Yeah, I guess we gotta get married by the end of the year now."
She watches till the end. That's kudos to her. Okay,
She does. She watches.
She's
full
devoted.
through. She probably knows more about what we talk about on the podcast than I do.
Okay.
Because for me, like after whatever we have this, I'm like, oh yeah, hey, yeah. She said, well, what did you guys talk about? I'm like, that's a good question because we talk about so much that I forget it by the end of by the end of the night, and then she watches the full thing and she just remembers everything. Which shout out to her for doing that.
Yeah, shout out to her.
That's 100% supporter right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but now she's gonna be like, well, guess we got married by the end of the year.
Because I got my license during COVID. Because a lot of people, it's Bridgeview Courthouse who has a 2-month wait to get married.
Yeah.
I was like a 2-hour wait. People came to me, to get
So you're like our Vegas.
pretty much, yeah. Listen, I will dress up as Elvis, as the Pope, as a T-Rex, as a samurai, astronaut,
God.
whatever outfit you want to get married, I'll do it.
Godowski, you dress up.
I will
like
dress up as a
Godowski?
Godowski. Yes,
Oh,
I do.
I see them in Trisha Grodowski last time, bro. This guy was hilarious, dude. I was
Yeah,
standing
that
from
was
far.
funny.
I was standing there with the flag, and I see Eddie sitting in church. I don't want to be here.
It was a very solemn mass. I was in the zone.
You're definitely
Thinking
in the
about
zone.
taxes, dude.
100% you was thinking about taxes. But if anything, where can people find you? Obviously,
I mean, for most cases, it's our website and then the office number. But do have a business Instagram, and then my cell phone number is available for most individuals. And then you email.
which phone?
My business line. My office, my Instagram is TaxStitch LLC.
Tax stitch, right?
LLC is my business Instagram.
What's Marcin right over here, dude?
And then there's also the.
There you
yeah.
are. Hey, look, I follow you too.
Follow me, nice. And I just post random things there throughout the year, or Nicola will, and we'll get that going. But that's my business one, and my private one's my private one. But also, it's like I tell people to email me, because emails get to go through a lot faster, and that's edward@taxstitch.com.
All right,
Edward at
awesome.
taxstitch.com.
Edward@taxstitch.com.
Oh, there's
yeah.
number 783305195.
Yeah, it's the office line, or stop by the office.
Thank you for coming by.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
It was
appreciate it.
It was a great time. It was a lot of very informative. I guess I'll get my taxes.
Pretty funny too.
It was pretty funny for sure. It was a good time. Like, subscribe,
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
comment.
subscribe, comment.
comment, and then I'm sure
Call
we'll have
Eddie.
plenty of clips from this whole episode about just different
Yeah,
tax.
and a little surprise for Christmas.
100%. That'll be a good one. All right. Have a good
All right.
night, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eddie. Have a good night.
Good night.
Peace.
Wrong one.
Ah.